number 3, with the Islanders leading the series 2-0. Tonight, we're at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, Long Island. It's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final on USA. Tonight's game is brought to you by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. By Mobile Detergent Gasoline for your everyday driving needs. By Toyota, who reminds you that it's a good feeling to buckle up for safety. And by Levi's jeans, cords, and shirts for quality and style you can count on. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Albert, sitting in for Al Troutwig on another assignment, along with Dan Kelly and Gary Green, and welcome to game number 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. What looked to be a dream series has turned into a nightmare for the Edmonton Oilers. The Islanders going into Edmonton and stunning the Oilers in the first 2 games. Now they come home for games 3 and 4 and have the chance to shock the Edmonton Oilers in 4 straight games on way to a 4th straight Stanley Cup. You know, coming into this series, there are those who felt that the Islanders, although they won 3 Stanley Cups in a row, were the underdog as the Oilers were romping in the playoffs. They had won 11 games and lost just 1. They had outscored their opposition 74-33. That's 6 goals a game. But the Islanders have confused the Oilers. They've frustrated them. They have held them to combined 3 goals in the 2 games, and right now are licking their chops as they come home to the Nassau Coliseum. Well, licking their chops right now, getting ready to bring you all the action, Dan Kelly and Gary Green, and let's go to them for their pregame comments.
Okay, Al Albert. Gary, what have the Islanders done to the Oilers to stop them from scoring all those goals?
Billy Smith has got a lot to do with that, Dan, and we know what Billy Smith has done in the last 2 games, but I think looking at the whole Islander hockey club, the forwards have really broken up a lot of the plays. They've been doing a great job close checking wise. The defense, they've been standing up. They've been stopping them at the blue line a great deal of the time. But in their own end zone, they've always been getting a piece of the body. That is the Islander end zone. And that is difficult for the Oilers to play in that style of game.
I wonder if the Oilers are not thinking too much about Billy Smith. The best way to treat Billy Smith, I would be thinking, would be to score some goals against him.
No question about that. That's the only way you're going to upset Billy Smith. Right now, the Oilers really have to get all of their concentration right on playing their game, their skating style, their passing, finishing off. Forget about Billy Smith right now. There's no use trying to go for his head or try and spear him. You're only going to end up in the penalty box or really not concentrating on what you have to do best, and that is win a game here tonight.
As Glenn Sather told me earlier today, we have to play our game, and their game in Edmonton all season long has been a passing and a skating game. Back to you, Al.
Well, Dan, the numbers certainly stacked up against the Oilers only twice before in Stanley Cup final history. That is, since they've had a 7-game format, as a team come back from a 2-0 deficit to win the Cup. Also, the Islanders, on their march to 3 straight Stanley Cups, have never lost a home game in the finals. That's against the Oilers coming into tonight.
We're up 15. We got this game won.
Yeah, you guys are buying a light beer from Miller.
Yeah, slice Philly.
One out to go. Yeah, what can he do to us now?
Hey, I'll keep the change. Here's Rodney!
Did he pinch at his leg?
enough. Here I am. Come on, Lee! Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less. Hey, wait a minute. This game isn't over yet. I caught that ball.
Just about ready to go. Game number 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Not only have the Edmonton Oilers not beaten the Islanders during these finals, they haven't beaten them all year. In 3 regular season games, the Islanders won all 3. So you add on the 2 games now during the finals. The Islanders are 5-0 this year against the Edmonton Oilers. And oddly enough, 4 of those victories came in Edmonton. And in doing so, the Islanders have held Wayne Gretzky intact. No goals, 2 assists in this final series. And now we are ready to go with the national anthem. Everybody rising at the Nassau Coliseum. And here is the anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mr. Joe Dewar with the national anthem here at the Nassau Coliseum. Game 3 of the 1983 Stanley Cup Final. The referee, Brian Lewis, will be the referee. The 2 linesmen will be Ron Finn and Ray Scampanello. The starting goaltenders for the Edmonton Oilers: Andy Moog, 14 playoff games this year, 11 wins, 3 losses, a 2.90 goals against average. And for the Islanders, it is Billy Smith with 15 games, 11-3 at 2.85 goals against mark. So the goals against averages are very close. They're equal in wins, but in this series, Billy Smith and the Islanders lead it by a 2-0 margin.
Well, we will see whether the Oilers will be able to come up with a fine effort tonight. They are overdue. I doubt very much that anyone would have suspected that the Oilers would be down 2-0 coming into the Nassau County Coliseum.
Here are the Oilers getting immediate possession, and Gretzky shoots it in. Potvin shooting it right back out, and Lee Fogelin drops it to his own line. The Oilers now attack, led by Glenn Anderson. Fired it in high off the glass. Dennis Potvin back to pick it up. Cleared it on the right wing. Lowe came in and knocked Bossy down, and the puck comes into the Oilers zone with Lee Fogelin. The Oilers team captain back to get it to Yari Curry. Curry on left wing to Lowe. Lowe at center to Curry. Curry to Glenn Anderson. He's checking the play, and circling is Stepan Persson for the Islanders. Got it on the boards. Knocking it down now. Gretzky shot it right through the goal crease. Nobody there to tip it in. Islanders clear it. Here's Bossy to center. Gretzky checks Bossy. Now Ken Morrow at center ice. A long bouncer. Mo got it to clear it. Big rebound. Now Bourne got to it, but shot wide. Now Morrow. His shot blocked. And Messier feeds it to Curry. He missed it, but Linsman picks it up. Kenny Linsman. Taken out of the play by Potvin. Now back come the Islanders with Brent Sutter, the hero of Game 2. He shoots it in for New York. Messier back to get it. Checked by Dwayne Sutter. Don Jackson cleared it on the boards. Now Brent Sutter into forecheck on Lindstrom, and the Oilers come out of there. Don Jackson to center ice, shooting it in. Thomas Johnson back to get it to Bob Bourne. That's cleared to center. Lindstrom back near his own line to Jackson, back to Lindstrom. He had to chase back after it to Mark Messier. who's been bothered with a shoulder problem throughout this series. Janssen shoots it back in. This is Donald Jackson, number 29. Jackson head-manning it on right wing to Lindstrom. Lindstrom at center ice to Jackson. In across the line to Ray Cote, broken up and shot by Potvin into the Oilers zone. And Moog is out of the net to clear it around in the boards. Cote trying to flip it out. Does at center. Hunter couldn't get it, and back come the Islanders. This is Bob Nystrom. Nystrom checked in the play, and now it's Paul Coffey, number 7 for Edmonton. Coffey got it to the Islander line. Back from New York. Here's a pass to Kennelly. Shooting! Moog looked in behind him, but he made the save, but wasn't too sure about it. For our local affiliates, we'll pause here. You're watching Stanley Cup hockey on USA.
Discover a fresh new approach to condominium living at Spring Creek. McBride & Son understands the way you live. And at Spring Creek, you can choose from 4 luxurious models designed to suit your modern lifestyle. Enjoy the swimming pool, clubhouse, tennis courts, and lake. These award-winning condominiums are so beautiful and so affordable. Privacy, individuality, and affordability. McBride understands the way you live.
Hi, I'm Bob Allen, and I host a program each week called The Last of the Silver Screen Cowboys. Join us for exciting adventures with your Western heroes of the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Last of a fast dying breed, cattle grazing.
To Kevin Lowe, head-manning it at center ice for Dave Lumley, and Lumley shoots it into the Islanders zone. Dennis Potvin back to get it, cleared it. Vogelin knocks it down, now picked up by Clark Gillies. At center ice with a pass to Dwayne Sutter, and a wrist shot is just wide. Back comes Lumley, number 20. Flipping it for Dave Semenko, that hit the linesman, and as a result, the play went offside at the New York Islander blue line.
Dave Semenko, the policeman for this Edmonton Oiler Hockey Club. He has been playing on a 4th line with Tommy Ralston and Lumley. The Oilers have been going with 4 lines, whereby the Islanders have pretty much stuck with their 3 lines using Merrick and Carroll. Carroll especially killing penalties. Merrick saw a little bit of ice time during the first 2 games.
There's Brian Trottier, who's dominated this series by winning faceoffs. He wins another one. Back to Pearson, now to Trottier, over to Bossy. Bossy got it to center, was checked in number 17. Gary Curry drops it to Charlie Huddy. Around in the boards to Coffey. Pearson held it in. To Trottier, to Keller. His shot blocked by Huddy. Now centered. Bossy was too well checked in front of the net. Dave Langevin trying to get it in front. Andy Moog pokes it away. And here's Gretzky working it to Anderson, number 9. His shot is a high one. It has run over the glass, up into the crowd.
That one didn't even come close. Billy Smith just ducked. Glenn Anderson blasted it with all of his strength, but his strength on that shot was somewhat wasted as that puck ends up high up in the stands.
Glenn Anderson injured in game 1, but skating well here in the early going tonight.
This game is authorized under television rights granted by the National Hockey League and is presented solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, and other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Hockey League is strictly prohibited.
Right from the faceoff, we had an offside. There you see Ken Morrow, the native of Flint, Michigan. Played college hockey at Bowling Green, and of course, played on the United States gold medal winning team. Has been on 3 Stanley Cup winners here with the Islanders. I guess you might call him a winner.
No question about that.
Shot in by Jackson. Going back is Thomas Janssen. He cleared it to Bourne. And their forechecking is Gregg as he pinched in from the point. Now Messier comes in. He's going to get a penalty on that last play. Penalty coming up on the play down in the corner. With the score, the Islanders nothing, Edmonton nothing. We'll pause here. Penalties on those last play to both Messier and
Brent Sutter of the Islanders, super high sticking.
To Brent Sutter. Here is Bob Bourne with each team a man short. Jackson shot at the center. Thomas Johnson clearing it into Bob Bourne. This is Bourne trying to center one. Could not, and Randy Gregg for Edmonton beats Kenny Linsman. Linsman leaving it for Willie Lindstrom. Now to Jackson. Back to Lindstrom. Lindstrom stick handling and holding on to the puck. Lindstrom, number 19, shoots one. Smith handles that, and Morrow takes over. Smith was knocked down on the play, and Smith bangs his stick on the ice in disgust because no penalty was called. Somebody knocked Smith down, and now the play is called on an offside at the Edmonton blue line. Smith and the Islanders and their fans are upset.
Well, it was Ken Linsman, I believe, the Oiler player that knocked Billy Smith right on his can, and he wasn't too happy about it. Let's take a look at it. We see Linsman coming around behind that net. He had obviously utilized his stick in order to pull the feet right out from underneath Billy Smith, and Billy Smith really showed some signs of anger.
Each team a man short. Messier off for elbowing. Brent Sutter for high sticking. 4:01 the time as the Islanders come close. Now Gretzky checked by Dennis Potvin. Here's Pache. Over to Bossy, but Charlie Huddy intercepts that. Huddy to Anderson. Anderson moving in on left wing. Anderson is checked, and Bossy tries to break up. Mike Bossy in across the line, drops it to Pearson, to Trottier. Shot it in front of the goal. Going to be a penalty here against Edmonton as Coffey comes up with the puck. And now play is called, and a penalty coming up against Glenn Anderson. For our local affiliates, we'll pause here. You're watching Stanley Cup hockey on USA.
Not where you'd expect to find the U.S. Coast Guard, but from New Orleans to East Grand Forks, Minnesota, a lot of folks know them well. Like Captain Robert Hammond, the Coast Guard sets the day markers that guide his riverboat. And when the spring floods hit East Grand Forks, they were there to help Mayor Murray and Chief Dan Formato. Keeping the great river moving is a big job. The Coast Guard does it well. A lot of big jobs in the Coast Guard. Maybe one's for you.
Hi, I'm Bob Allen, and I host a program each week called The Last of the Silver Screen Cowboys. Join us for exciting adventures with your Western heroes of the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Last of a fast dying breed, cattle grazing.
Power play. Dennis Potvin leads the rush. Shooting it in, low back on the boards with Bossy. Low clearing it. Janssen now held it in for the Islanders. Again, a play is called. They ruled the puck was hit with a hand pass from one player to another, and play is stopped.
Yari Curry, Glenn Father said that through the course of the season that Yari Curry was probably his best two-way hockey player on his team. Definitely offensively, he has played extremely well with Gretzky this season. Defensively, he has shone as well.
The Islanders in the playoffs have 18 power play goals, a 24.7%, but in this series, they are 0 for 7. The Oilers also have not scored in the power play. Here's Andy Moog clearing it down the ice, and Dennis Potvin goes back to get it. Here's Potvin. Trying to flip it in, broken up now. Butch Goring, number 91, has it. Brent Sutter is back on along with Messier, so it's a 5 against 4 power play. Here's Goring back of the goal. Jackson rides him out of the play. Puck cleared, held in by Potvin. Moving in, shooting, and he shot it wide as it deflected. Thomas Johnson into the corner. Nystrom knocking down Big Jackson. Here's Butch Goring. Back to Johnson. Now to Nystrom. In front to Goring. That's broken up, and Yari Curry cleared it away for the Oilers.
You notice when the Islanders get possession of that puck in the Oiler end zone on the blue line, they immediately move to that middle ice area. They're also looking to feed Potvin on the point.
Islanders lost it, now get it back again as they feed it into Butch Goring. Goring shooting it in behind the goal. Jackson there for Edmonton. Here's Pinelli getting it to Pearson. Over to Potvin. Potvin back to Pearson, a drive, Moog to save, rebound. Jackson trying to cover up. Loose puck still near the Edmonton goal. And Jackson shot it away to Hunter, who cleared it to center. The Islanders came close there. Now Goring beating Cockburn. Across the line, Gregg shot it away, and now Anderson is back on out of the penalty box. A lead pass to Anderson. Goes down into the Islander zone. Pearson back after it. And an icing call, or an offside call now against the Islanders. We're live in New York on Long Island, and there's no score.
I'm Paul Williams, composer and Grand Prix driver. This is the 1983 Celica GTS. Some good-looking car, huh? And excuse the expression, it isn't short on performance. Watch this.
That's Paul. That's the Celica. And for 83, the Celica GTS has a new independent rear suspension, electronic fuel injection, and even more horsepower.
You know, when I drive a Toyota Celica, I'm 6'2", Dan Gurney.
Sure you are.
Faceoff coming up in the Edmonton zone to the right of Andy Moe. Bob Bourne against Gretzky. Gretzky gets the draw on Fogelin. In the scoreless game, cleared it back to the net. Teams are back at full strength. Low to Anderson, now to Curry. Gretzky racing after it, but Dave Langevin back to get it for the Islanders. Over to Stepan Pearson. Now to Brent Sutter. Low intercepting that. Low circles. He's number 4 for the Oilers. They drop it back to Lee Fogelin. Pass ahead to Anderson, going back to Pearson. And the Oilers guilty of icing as they shot it in from their own side of center ice. Faceoff comes back into the Edmonton zone.
I think this man's been hurting somewhat. There's a great number of the Islanders that have been hurting, including Dave Langevin. But Stefan Pearson has had some knee problems. Dave Langevin had knee problems. Surprisingly, he has been back in the lineup. He was not expected to see any action whatsoever in playoffs. In fact, even his career at one point in time was in jeopardy. Amazing recovery.
Number 26, Langevin for the Islanders, a native of St. Paul, Minnesota. Big, strong, defensive defenseman. He can move him out in front of that net.
That's why they call him Bam Bam.
Here's Paul Coffey. Another type of defenseman, an offensive and puck-carrying defenseman. He almost lost it that time. Now a jam up on the boards. Clark Gillies pinched in against the boards by Lindstrom and Coffey. As you look at the professor, Al Arbor, coach of the 3-time Stanley Cup champion Islanders, trying to put up 4 pennants in a row here at the Nassau Coliseum.
I think Al Arbor tonight, from time to time, would like to get Trottier against Mr. Gretzky. I think he likes that matchup, but then again, he's going to play Trottier a great deal, especially utilizing him for faceoffs.
Right now, Trottier's against Linsman, and Linsman feeds Mark Messier. Racing in, Smith the save, and Gillies comes up with the rebound. Couldn't clear it, but the Islanders do cover up, and Bossy cleared it. Here's Thomas Janssen. Ahead to Bossy. In across the line, Randy Gregg is there to clear it away, and Linsman circles back. Linsman to Willie Lindstrom. Broken up now, Messier. For Edmonton, dropping it to Randy Gregg. Ahead to Ken Linsman. Linsman, number 13, checked by Bossy. And the puck is held there long enough to Brian Lewis whistles the play down. We have 11:13 left in the first period. No score.
I really think this man right here in game number 2, well, he was valuable in all of the games in playoffs, but game number 2, he was dynamite on those faceoffs. Just won one faceoff after another. Key faceoffs in his own end zone, especially.
Faceoff coming up in the Islander end of the rink. No score. Here's Charlie Huddy at the point. Smith a save. And Smith very nicely cleared or covered up on the rebound. And now some pushing and shoving in front of the goal.
See Gordon Lane there. He had his stick up high. He was making sure that no Oiler was going to come back in. Take a look at it. Smith makes the save. He has to go to the splits in order to make the save. Watch Lane just off to our right. Charlie Huddy, the man taking that good hard drive. And again, we see it from another angle. Smith splitting his legs. Difficult move for a goaltender, but you watch. The Oilers will be in there quickly tonight. They're going to probably cause Smith a little bit of aggravation, especially on shots that he is trying to hold his guard against any rebounds.
Number 24 for the Oilers is Tom Ralston, a center iceman, a good skating forward on this Edmonton club. Here's Trottier as the Islanders from the face-off in their own zone break out. Trying to feed Butch Goring. Moog off to the side of the goal, was not sure of where the Islander players were, so he held on to it. For our local affiliates, we'll pause here. You're watching Stanley Cup hockey on USA.
One of the main factors for the playoff success of the New York Islanders this year has been the line consisting of the Sutter brothers, Brent and Dwayne, along with Bob Bourne. They have accounted for 68 points in 14 games. And Brent Sutter, the hero of game number 2, with 2 goals and 1 assist. And Brent Sutter will be my guest in between the first and second periods. Also a look at the top candidates for the Vezina Trophy, top goalie in the league.
Play underway as Paul Coffey lets a shot go. Smith stopped that. The Oilers with pressure on, but now Potvin was able to clear the zone for New York. Coffey shot it back in, and the play is called. Another of those hand passes, batting it ahead from one player to another. Well, the Oilers showing a little offensive punch at this point.
They, I think, Dan, are skating a little bit better than they did in the last half of the game anyway, in game number 2 in Edmonton. And let's face it, they are going to have to skate for 60 complete minutes in this hockey game here tonight. This game number 3, extremely important to them. If they lose this one tonight, I'd say they have got tough trudging ahead in game 4.
Face-off as Wayne Merrick will take the face-off just outside the Islander blue line. Merrick is out centering the line with Wayne Sutter on right wing. Clark Gillies on the left side. They're out against the Cote, Hughes, and Hunter line for Edmonton. Here's Clark Gillies. Got it to center, intercepting it there is number 12, Hughes. And the Oilers shoot it in. Pearson. Kamara in there to forecheck. The Oilers, number 12 for Edmonton, doing the aggressive forechecking is Dave Hunter. Now some pushing and shoving. And the Islanders weren't happy about the way Dave Hunter came in with some aggressiveness.
No, they certainly weren't. Stephen Pearson, he was in the midst of that. Cote and Hunter. Hunter being the one that is obviously causing the most trouble. Surprisingly enough, Stephen Pearson was in there, and he was doing a little pushing. Let's take a look at it. Stephen Pearson and Hunter Cote originally, but Hunter was the guy that came in there bouncing Merrick. But watch Stephen Pearson. He comes back in there. He was really trying to lay the body on as well.
The Islanders send out Trottier. There's Stefan Pearson, who was involved in that shoving in the corner. Cote against Trottier. Let's see who wins this. Trottier wins it cleanly and gets it to Smith. Back of the net now. The Oilers coming up with it as they send 2 men in behind the goal. And Smith, as the puck came to the side of his net, was able to grab it and hold on for a faceoff. By the way, if you look at Billy Smith, the leading point getter in this series is Wayne Sutter of the Islanders. A goal and 4 assists in the first 2 games. He's had a big playoff period.
He really has, Dan. And that line with his brother Brent and Bobby Bourne have been probably the best line for the Islanders during playoffs.
This time the Oilers win the draw and work it over to Cote. His shot high and wide, and now Bob Nystrom clears it to center. Merrick racing after it. Vogelin tying Merrick up on the play. Puck is knocked loose back to the goal, and Kevin Lowe gets it for Edmonton. To Ray Cote, number 14. He clips it in. Pat Hughes digging in after it. Now Janssen shooting it around in the boards. Over to Clark Gillies. Now to Nystrom. Bob Nystrom, number 23. Into Clark Gillies. Into the corner to Nystrom. He drops one back. Nobody there, and the puck comes all the way to the Islander end of the rink with Thomas Janssen. And the set up from Billy Smith. Janssen, the little defenseman out of Sweden. Dwayne Merrick. Now at center to Keller, who tried to clear it in. Keller steals it again, had it only momentarily, and here's Jackson ahead to Gretzky. Janssen back of the goal. Tried to clear it. Oilers hold it in. Here is a centering pass. Now Gretzky in behind that net, out in front. Shoots. And Trottier, I believe, went down to block it. Smith was down on the ice. I think Trottier stopped the shot. Back comes Anders Keller. Over to Trotze. Moog the save on that. Now Trotze behind the goal, and Jackson comes up with it for Edmonton. The Oilers, Dwayne Anderson trying to clear. Knocked down. Bossy dropping it to Langevin. His shot, Moog cleared that aside. And now the puck is shot to center ice, and Pearson back to clear it to Dave Langevin. He shoots it near the Edmonton line. Don Jackson for the Oilers. Over to Randy Gregg. No score in this game. 8 minutes left here in the first period. Gary Curry, a high shot. Bob Bourne back together. Held in by Gary Curry. In behind the net, Gretzky going. Billy Smith is there. Cleared it. Now Pearson dropping it back of the net. And the Islanders work it to Bob Bourne. Now to Brent Sutter. Over to Bourne. Bourne's shot goes off Charlie Huddy and goes away up into the crowd here at the Nassau Coliseum.
Wayne Gretzky probably has had the best scoring opportunity of this first period. He came very close to putting that puck in the net. There's the man that had a lot to do with Gretzky not putting that puck in the net. Let's take a look at it now. Gretzky in his favorite position around behind the net. Smith is all the way down, though. Watch Gretzky as he tries to put that puck high up in the air. I believe, Dan, it was Trotze, as you had indicated. And then Trotze comes all the way back, leading some rushes for his hockey club, and almost scores at the opposite end.
I guess you could call that doing it at both ends.
That's the type of player he is.
He really is. Here are the Oilers in this scoreless game. Mark Messier breaks to center. Passing it in on left wing to Lindstrom. Lane tied him up, and then as it was centered, Smith was able to grab it and hold on. And now the faceoff will be in the New York zone.
Smith, you can be sure tonight, is going to grab all of those loose pucks close by him, even if it means getting a whistle. They're not the least bit worried about a faceoff in their own end zone, not with Trotze. There we take a look at John Muckler, the assistant coach. He, by the way, is said to say hello to all of his friends back in Providence, Rhode Island, where he spends his time during the off-season.
By the way, while we're speaking locales, congratulations to Indianapolis, who won the Central League Championship. I saw Fred Creighton here today. Of course, they're the Islander Farm Club. And we had a brief visit, and we wanted to mention that a week or so ago, and I think we passed it up. But congratulations to Indianapolis for the Central League Championship. Puck shot in here by the Islanders. And as Huddy goes back to play at an icing call on the play against the Islanders. As I mentioned, Indianapolis is the farm team of the New York Islanders.
Well, and they're an excellent farm club as well. They've got a young goaltender down there, Dan. He is probably going to be playing in the National Hockey League very, very soon. We take a look at Ken Linsman, who has been fairly quiet in the offensive department. Of course, the whole Oilers have been quiet in the offensive department, but he has not been playing his game. Again, the Islanders have a lot to do with that.
Only 3 goals for the Oilers in 2 games. Here's Huddy shooting, and that was just wide. Now Wayne Sutter getting it back to the goal. Here's Messier in behind the net, trying to center it. Copy at the left point, flipping it behind the goal. And Thomas Janssen is there to work it to Dwayne Sutter. Sutter to Brent Sutter. Now over to Bourne, stolen by the Oilers. Messier shot wide. Now Copy centered it. Here's Mark Messier. Trying to work it to Copy. He got it in front. Smith cleared it away. And Bob Bourne comes back for New York. Bourne shoots one. Moog the save. Rebound gathered in by Linsman. Number 13, Linsman. A pass up the middle to Messier. Messier poke check. Here's Dwayne Sutter for New York. His shot kicked into the corner by Andy Moog. Now Brent Sutter on the boards. Holding the puck there, and we have a stoppage in play. Brent Sutter doing a little pushing with a couple of the Oilers. By the way, Brent Sutter will be Al Albert's guest in our upcoming intermission. He had a big game with 2 goals in Game 2 of the series as the Islanders won big in Edmonton.
Well, this line really has given the Oilers some problems. They've given all the teams in playoffs this year some problems. Brent and Dwayne, with their left winger, Bobby Bourne, who has got just amazing speed. That has turned out to be quite a line combination for the Islanders.
Another feature of Al Albert's intermission will be something on the best of trophy candidates in the National Hockey League this year. So you'll see some of the top goaltending performances as well in our intermission. No score here in the first period. Puck shot to center by Edmonton, and Pearson has it for the Islanders. Passing it ahead to Mike Bossy. Kevin Lowe back to get it. Lowe checked in the play. Now Glenn Anderson trying to hold it against the boards. Merrick is there, so is Bossy. And now finally play is whistled down. And the faceoff will be in the Edmonton zone. Brian Lewis, the referee in this game, has let both teams get away with a couple of things here in the early going.
He really has, Dan, but he has been consistent, both ends, as you mentioned, and really has kept the pace of this first period moving quickly.
Wayne Merrick on a face-off against Gretzky. Gretzky wins the draw cleanly. And Lowe fires it out on right wing. Going back is Langevin. Checked by Yeri Curry to Anderson, now to Gretzky. Gretzky shooting, and a glove save by Billy Smith. That's twice that Gretzky's had big chances here in the first period.
Smith really had to be quick on that one. Of course, quick he is, coming up with a big glove save. Let's take a look at it. Number 99 drills that shot. And Smith coming up with the glove save. Boy, Gretzky really let go with that one. You see how high his stick actually came in the air. That signifies how much power he actually had on that drive.
Only 2 assists, but for Gretzky in this series, but more points in these playoffs than any other player in the history of the National Hockey League in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Puck is cleared around on the boards, and play is stopped again, and we'll have another face-off. Gretzky, as we look at Butch Goring, 12 goals, 24 assists, 36 points. And that's already a Stanley Cup playoff record, eclipsing Mike Bossy's old mark. But only 2 assists in this period, and this guy's had a lot to do with that. Butch Goring, as well as his line mates at normal times against Gretzky, John Tonelli and Bob Nystrom.
Well, he can take the rough going as well, Dan. That shows you the type of player he is. There we saw a big hit by Glenn Anderson on Goring.
Puck in behind the goal. Dave Lumley coming up with it, centers it to Kevin Lowe. Got it in front, and Gord Lane knocks it down. Now Lane flipping to Nystrom. His shot is wide of the target, but handled by Moog anyway. And Andy Moog held onto it. The National Hockey League Stanley Cup playoffs are coming to you on USA. And this game is scoreless. At the point, a shot for Edmonton. Now Dave Lumley trying to center it. Butch Goring cleared it away. And John Tonelli then does shoot it to center ice. Number 4, Lowe, is back to get it. No score in this game. Lowe to Fogelin, stolen by Butch Goring. Goring now to Nystrom, and that's shot back out by Edmonton. With Dennis Potvin back to control it. Over to Lane. He flips it in. Fogelin. Number 2 for the Oilers, back to pick it up. Round on the boards to Coffey. Nystrom hammered him into the boards. Now the puck is taken by Gretzky. Over to Yeri Curry. Curry moving in. His shot went off Potvin. Deflects into the corner, and Trache is back to get it. Trache, a right wing pass to Mike Bossy. Bossy dropping it to Potvin. The Islanders work it nicely out of their own zone. Here's Trache to Tonelli. John Tonelli for New York. Tonelli centers. Trache, a shot. Moog, a sprawling save on Trache. And the Islanders come knocking on the door.
It really was a good opportunity for the Islanders. John Tonelli, he's been described as some as about as difficult to check as trying to grab a porcupine. He's all knees and elbows. He's really something when he has possession of that puck. But look at that puck as it came right out in front of the net. Gave Andy Moog some real problems. Almost ended up behind him. John Tonelli.
And the Islanders came very close to scoring. Meanwhile, earlier, Tom Ralston had a chance. Billy Smith made the save, but it dribbled in behind him, and then Gord Lane had to come back and clear it away. No score here in this first period. Randy Gregg for Edmonton, clearing it to Ray Cote. Cote clearing it in. Here's a chance for Pat Hughes. Hughes in front. Backhander. And Hunter is robbed by Billy Smith. Now the Islanders come back. Keller trying to shoot it in. Bossy with a drive. Turned aside by Moe. Back is Gregg for the Oilers. This pass to Jackson. Now ahead to Hunter. Number 12. Dave Hunter, who had a good chance moments ago. Pat Hughes centering one. Cleared, held in by Gregg. Greg's shot is blocked, and Trache for the Auditors feeds Anders Keller. Going back to Greg to get it, and that's an icing call because the Auditors shot it in from their own side of center ice. Well, Mr. Dave Hunter just had a big chance for Edmonton.
He really did, Dan. Some good opportunities at both ends of the rink. Hunter, as you indicated, great opportunity. And then Bossy came right back. Ken Morrow looks like he perhaps on the Islander bench right now is hurting somewhat as well. We know that he came back with some knee surgery. Take a look. We talked about great opportunity by Hunter. There he is, all alone in front of the net. Billy Smith coming up with a save. The puck bounced off into the corner, and then it came right back. Bossy had a scoring opportunity.
Face off in the Oilers zone. Here's a chance by Lindstrom, blocked at the defense. And now the puck is cleared over the glass and into the crowd. 2 minutes, 53 seconds left in the period. There you see Wayne Sutter, a goal and 4 assists in this series, and the leading point getter with 5 on either of these teams.
He really is an aggressive, determined hockey player, Dan. He's been doing some great corner work for that particular line. Kevin Lowe, defenseman that doesn't get probably a great amount of recognition offensively, but pinched very well in the dying parts of the game when the Oilers were trying to get some ground into the second game of this series.
Here is Kevin Lowe shooting it in behind the Islander goal. Bourne trying to clear it out of there. Lindstrom knocks it down, and now Dennis Potvin flips it to Wayne Sutter. Sutter shooting it in. Here's Bob Bourne in to get it. Now Dwayne Sutter, dead center. Fogelin intercepting for the Oilers. Ahead to Messier, number 11. Mark Messier never got his shot away as Dennis Potvin played him perfectly. And here's Brent Sutter. Brent Sutter tied up, keeps battling, and now fires it into the Edmonton zone. And Coffey has to go back for it. Coffey to Lindstrom. He missed it, but Linsman picks it up. To Semenko on left wing. Big Semenko shooting it in. Potvin back to clear it to Bob Nystrom. Now held in by Lumley. Lumley centering one. Puck comes bouncing back to Coffey. Smith another save. And Smith has come up big again here for the Auditors. Behind the goal is Billy Smith to Pearson. Now shooting it over to John Tonelli. Held in. Back to the goal is Pearson. To Dennis Potvin. Now to Tonelli, and he missed it. The puck went off an Edmonton player, though, so there'll be no icing. A minute and a half left in a scoreless first period. Coffey shot at the center. Flipped back in by the Auditors, and the play is offside at the Edmonton blue line.
A minute and 26 seconds remaining in this first period of play. Surprisingly, that line of Ralston, Semenko, and Lumley in game number 2 had some good scoring opportunities. Glenn Sather seems to be playing them a fair amount, almost getting a regular shift out here for the Oilers right now. Goring is now up against Wayne Gretzky, and again, Al Arbour doesn't really seem to care who he has playing against Gretzky. I had said earlier that Trache, I thought, was getting more ice time against Gretzky, but I think they're pretty confident that all their center icemen can play against 99.
Right now, they have Goring, Tonelli, and Nystrom up on the forward line against the Gretzky-Curry-Anderson line. And for the most part, that's the line the Auditors have had out, as Gary points out, but numerous times Arbour and the Auditors have used another line. Here's Jackson shooting it in for Edmonton. Smith back to the net, leaves it for Thomas Janssen. Now to Tonelli, a bad bounce off the boards. Goring covers up to Tonelli. John Tonelli, number 27, knocked down by Don Jackson. And the Oilers break out 3-on-2. Anderson to Gretzky. Gretzky over to Curry, and the play is offside at the Auditor blue line. Now Jackson and Tonelli back at center ice. Almost get into it. Now Gretzky and Tonelli have some words.
Tonelli's pretty disciplined. He likes to bang away in those corners. He's a pretty determined hockey player, as we see right here. He's down on his rear and then right back up again. But he is disciplined in the fact that he's not going to take too many bad penalties. And when he goes down hard, but he doesn't stay there too long.
A minute and 2 seconds now left in period 1. The Islanders nothing, the Oilers nothing. The Oilers have had the best scoring chances, but have had some Billy Smith problems. There's National Hockey League President John Ziegler at the game here tonight. Puck shot in by the Auditors. Cleared by Moog on the boards. Pache knocking it down to Morrow. In front of the goal. Keller was checked before he could shoot. And here's Anderson breaking up. Anderson, number 9 for the Oilers. Centers. Gretzky couldn't get a stick on it as Pache had him tied up. Now Pache couldn't clear it out of there. Gretzky centers one. Gary Curry in front of the net. There's a loose puck, and Bossy came back to clear it away. That was in behind Smith. Now a shot blocked by Morrow. He cleared it, and here's a 2-on-1 Islander break. Bossy shooting, Moog to save, they score! Anders Keller on the rebound.
As oftentimes happen, we go from one end to another. The Oilers had a great opportunity, but unfortunately it caused a 2-on-1 with Bossy and Keller. Bossy getting away the drive. Let's take a look at it right from that slot area over to the side. He gets, first of all, the wrist shot. The rebound comes out. Keller there, being the man on the spot, and puts it behind Moog.
Meanwhile, Bossy at the other end had made a save in behind the goaltender Smith. We saw Trache do that earlier. And then Bossy came back to set up the goal, and it's a 1-0 Islander lead. Way underway. Puck in the center ice area as Lee Fogelin now comes up with it. He shoots it near the Islander line. Pearson firing it back in for Dwayne Sutter. His shot goes wide of the goal, and the buzzer goes to end the first period. That late goal by Anders Keller, assisted by Bossy and Morrow. It came at 19:41 of period number 1. Coming up in our intermission, Islander forward Brent Sutter. He's one of the Sutter brothers, and he'll visit with Al Albert in our intermission. The score after 1 period of play, the New York Islanders 1, Edmonton 0.
Mom? Period to the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, game number 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Islanders with a 1-0 lead over the Edmonton Oilers, scoring with just 19 seconds to go in that first period. And they lead Edmonton by the score of 1-0. One of the big reasons for the success of the Islanders in the playoffs has been the play of the Sutter brothers. Brent Sutter, 20-year-old from Viking, Alberta, the hero in game number 2 with 2 goals and 1 assist. The line has counted for 64 points in the 18 playoff games. And out of Viking, Alberta, how far is that from Edmonton?
Well, it's about 70 miles straight east from Edmonton.
Any special satisfaction, what you're doing now to the hometown Oilers, especially the 2 games in Edmonton?
Well, special, satisfaction about the whole thing is win the Stanley Cup. That's what we're set out to do, and, hopefully we can accomplish that.
Brent, a question. What is, you think, more difficult? Perhaps beating the Oilers in the Stanley Cup or getting tickets for the whole clan, the Sutter clan in the Edmonton arena?
Well, there's a lot of people to get tickets for, but, the hardest part is beating the Oilers naturally. They got a great hockey team. They skate very well. They move the puck well. They get back strong in their own end, and we got to play really heads-up hockey against them.
This first period seemed to be, as far as the Islanders are concerned, scripted for ultimate frustration as far as the Oilers are concerned. It appeared as if somebody up there is watching out for Billy Smith, and then with the Oilers getting many opportunities, Islanders with just 19 seconds to go come back and strike.
Well, we have to be happy coming out of it 1-0. I think we're a little tight coming out. I don't know what it is. Just maybe being at home in the finals. It's natural. We'll come out stronger in the second and third, and we'll play a lot, our game.
Could you see the Oilers being very frustrated? They had many golden opportunities for goals, and after that last one, the puck rolling towards the net, and the Islanders come back and score.
Well, Smitty's playing really well for us, and, we need that playoff goaltending, and as we all know, Billy Smith is a playoff goaltender, and he gives us what we need, and, we'll score our goals, but we need Smitty to keep them out, too, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Brent, with 2 games in your pocket now, has your strategy changed at all here in Game 3?
None at all. We just got to keep going, playing our game, and go after Game 3, and then go from there. Like I said before, Edmonton got a good hockey team, and we got to play very smart and good positional hockey against them. And if we do that, we'll be all right.
Wayne Gretzky has not scored a goal yet in this playoff series. In the 3 games during the regular season, Gretzky had 1 goal. So in 5 games against the Islanders this year, Wayne Gretzky, 1 goal. What has been the secret to stopping the great one?
Well, there's no really secret. We all know, what kind of hockey player he is, and we, you pay a little special attention to him, and watch him and try to, outsmart him. It's hard to do, but if you play heads up against him, you'll do all right against him.
Well, in games 1 and 2, the stick-swinging incidents involving Billy Smith and several of the Oilers. Anything said in the Islander locker room about that coming into game number 3?
And none whatsoever. That's in the past. That's the way, Smitty, it wasn't done purposely. It got all blown out of proportion, and, Smitty, all he was going for was, he naturally's got to poke-check the guy from behind the net, and, I think it's proven that, everybody says what kind of vicious swing he has, but that's the way Billy Smith plays, and you're not going to change his style, and I don't care who you are, it's not going to bother Billy Smith at all.
Are you keeping your eye out on any of the Oilers who may try to retaliate?
Well, none whatsoever. If they retaliate, they'll go in the penalty box, and then we'll have a power play.
For Brent Sutter, it has been a season a little rocky during the regular season, but everything coming together now during the playoffs on a line with your brother Dwayne and with Bobby Bourne. What got it all together?
Well, I don't know really what it was. We got together when Clarkie got hurt, and hurt himself, and Borney come in our line, and we was about 4 games left going in the regular season, and everything just seemed to click. I don't know what it was. It just seemed to go, and we live fairly close together back in Western Canada, and we kind of know each other inside out, and that really helps. And we kind of know where each other is on the ice, and it helps. And we've carried on through playoffs, and hopefully we can continue to carry on.
Is it that, or perhaps does Brent Sutter fit in with the playoff tradition of the Islanders? Because it was last year that you really came along, then on a line with the Gillies.
Well, playoffs was hard for me last year. I didn't play much, 4th line and spot duty, but that's what you got to go with that. That's what happens when you just step into the league and you never played in a playoff game before in the National Hockey League, especially with the New York Islanders. And they really want you to just stride in and, get your experience and everything. And, I think last year's really helped me out this year.
20-year-old Brent Sutter, our guest in between the first and second periods, one of the heroes for the Islanders during these playoffs here in 1982-83. And Brent, for joining us, we have for you a pair of Levi's cords in any one of 15 handsome colors. Levi's cords, the pants famous for walking the perfect line between jeans and slacks, only from Levi's Jeanswear. Coming up next, in between the first and second periods, a look at this year's candidates for the Vezina Trophy, the best goaltender in the National Hockey League during the regular season. The Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. In game number 3, it's the Islanders 1 and the Edmonton Oilers no score. And with the season coming to an end, the NHL ready to give out the hardware, the awards for the 1982-83 season. One of the oldest, the Vezina Trophy, best goaltender. Here are the top candidates. The NHL regular season, a grueling 80-game schedule that can thoroughly exhaust any player, especially the men minding the nets. Night after night, in city after city, they're shot on like clay pigeons. On such night, it can be one of the loneliest feelings an athlete can experience. But their efforts don't go unnoticed. Every year, the general managers of each of the 21 NHL clubs collaborate to award the Vezina Trophy to the goalkeeper adjudged to be the best in his position. In addition to the trophy, the winner takes home $1,500 in prize money. One of the standouts in the 82-83 campaign was rookie Kelly Lindbergh of the Philadelphia Flyers. Lindbergh's 2.98 goals against average was 4th best in the league. Along with Bob Froese, Lindbergh led the Flyers to an outstanding regular season. Andy Moog also turned in an impressive season, posting a 33-8-7 record. Moog's clutch net minding has brought Edmonton to the Stanley Cup Finals. In New York, Islanders had the two best netminders in the league, a feat which won them the Jennings Trophy. Veteran Billy Smith, getting better with age, finished with the third best average in the league. And he had a chance to share the load in the Islander net this season with Rolly Melanson, who stepped in with some inspired play. In 44 games, he turned in the league's best save percentage and the second best goals against average. His timing couldn't have been better for the Islanders as they struggled through their toughest regular season in 3 years. Though these men performed miraculous feats, there was one who rose above the best. His heroics inspired his fans to find the words to describe his play. Pete Peters of the Boston Bruins turned in one of the finest years a goaltender has ever recorded in the NHL. Playing in his first full season for the Boston Bruins, Peters led the league in shutouts, in victories, and goals against average. Peters was acquired from Philadelphia in June of '82, where he'd been a part of that club's historic 35-game unbeaten streak and an overall record of 29-5-5. But his theatrics did not stop there. While in Boston, Peters mounted a 31-game consecutive win streak. That was the second best in NHL history. His coach, Jerry Cheevers, still holds the mark at 32. Most important to Peters was that he was allowed to play goal the way he knows best, roam the crease area, and use his stick when necessary. It made Peters...
After one period of play, it's the New York Islanders 1, the Edmonton Oilers nothing. The only scoring play late in the period. Anders Keller's third goal to the playoffs at the 1941 mark. The shots on goal favored Edmonton 11-10. And the scoring play, it could have happened at the other end, but it came all the way down and New York scored.
Well, Mike Bossy was the hero of that first period. Take a look as that puck was headed straight for the empty net. Billy Smith caught out. But this is where it all started then. A 2-on-1 situation. Edmonton had pressed Bossy and Kaller. Kaller right there to pick up that rebound after Bossy. A good wrist shot. Moog made the initial save but gave up too much of a rebound, Dan, and as a result, well, the puck ended up behind him. Kaller putting that loose puck in.
I thought Edmonton deserved a better fate in that period, Gary, but again, Billy Smith is as hot as a firecracker.
He really is, Dan. You almost think that the Oilers, they've got to be somewhat frustrated right now. The way that they played in Game 1 of this series, Billy Smith being the answer, I really think they should at least be even in this period, but yet they have to go into the dressing room once again, probably with their heads down somewhat, knowing that they're one goal down again.
How about Mike Bossy? He's the guy that got in behind Billy Smith and stopped the original shot by Edmonton, and then comes all the way up and gets an assist on the go-ahead goal.
That shows you a little bit about the concentration of the Islanders, Dan. Even the great goal scorers like Mike Bossy, they still worry about their own end zone and are right there quickly to help out and even help out their goaltender. And Bossy's got to be credited with saving that goal. It would have been Edmonton 1 and the Islanders 0 at that point in time.
Meanwhile, Gary, I think the Oilers are playing better hockey, much like they did in Game 1 in this game tonight.
You know, Dan, they almost look like they're a little looser, and they're skating, they're doing things the way that they're capable of doing things. And right now, even though they're down, I still think they played a pretty good period of hockey.
So now we go to the second period. We're at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, the home of the New York Islanders. Islanders won the first game of the series 2-0. The second game 6-3. And they lead here 1-0 as we await the start of period number 2. The Islanders starting the line of Trottier, Bossy, and Clark Gillies. And the Oilers coming right back with their big line of Gretzky, Anderson, and Curry. So each team's best head on against each other as the second period begins. This is Lee Fogelin over to Kevin Lowe. Back to Fogelin. The Oilers in possession. Work at the center to Yeri Curry. And Yeri Curry scoops a high one into the New York zone. Anderson digging in, centered it. Smith was Johnny on the spot again. And grabbed that pass out in his glove and held on to it.
Once again, Billy Smith, any loose pucks, he's going to grab them. He's going to get that face-off. And we know why, as indicated in that first period. Trottier so great on those face-offs. Take a look at here. That puck coming out. Glenn Anderson really quickly in behind Billy Smith in order to pounce on that puck and put it out in front.
Trottier won the face-off from Gretzky. The Islanders born now on left wing. Can't get it out of there as he's pinned in against the boards by Fogelin. Trottier remains on the ice and will take another face-off with Gretzky. Bourne is the left winger on this line. He's number 14, the guy you see on the screen now. But both teams going with their best against their best at this point.
They really are right now. Some real line juggling continuing to go on by Al Arbour.
Trottier and Gretzky on the face-off. Gretzky gets this draw back to Fogelin. Shouted around behind the net. Glenn Anderson is there, couldn't center it. And Dennis Potvin now tried to shoot it out. Held in. Fogelin off the goal post, but that shot, that had Smith beaten but hit the post. And now it's cleared down the ice by the Islanders. And there will be an icing call against New York. Smith winds up with a broken goal stick. Now Glenn Anderson skating over near Billy Smith, having some words with the Islander goaltender. And Smith just turned away from him.
Well, they say when you're hot, those goalposts and crossbars are always with you. Take a look. It was definitely with the Islanders right here. And Billy Smith, Lee Fogelin winding up with that hard shot right off of the crossbar goalpost, right where they joined practically. Take a look at it again. That was destined for the corner had it not hit that goalpost.
Billy Smith has himself a new goal stick. From the face-off, the puck dropped unfairly. I got a kick out of one of the Edmonton newspapers yesterday. Everybody's heard of the Sultan of SWAT, Babe Ruth, in Edmonton. They call Billy Smith the Sultan of Slash. Trottier and Gretzky ready on a face-off. Nobody really wins this face-off. The Oilers kick it back. Gary Curry into the corner to Glenn Anderson. Anderson gets it in front. Cleared away by Ken Morrow. Now we're going to have a penalty here against the Islanders. Bob Bourne upending Glenn Anderson, and Bourne will get a penalty. And Edmonton will have a power play chance. That's Bob Bourne in the penalty box, a hooking call at the 54-second mark.
Well, we see why he gets this for hooking, but look at also the way that the Islanders clogged that slot area in front of the net. No wonder the Oilers are having a difficult time scoring goals.
Edmonton on a power play. They're 0 for 12 in this series with the man advantage. Here's a shot from the point. Smith a save on Huddy's shot, and he grabbed the rebound. And then Anderson was knocked down and went spinning away from the play. Good save there by Smith on Charlie Huddy.
Oh, once again, Smith really looked sharp. That drive coming from the point area by Charlie Huddy. Smith, through all of the mass of players that must have been in front of him, is still able to keep his eye on that puck. And here's Mr. Trottier ready to take yet another face-off, a very important one, in his own end zone.
The Oilers on the power play in the playoffs, down at 20.3 on the percentage. Here's a chance. Curry shoots, he scores! Gary Curry has just tied this game up. And the Oilers get their first power play of the series. They're now 1 for 13. And that has to give them some encouragement.
It really does. Gary Curry being the man that was right there. The assist has got to go to Billy Smith, Dan, because Smith, he will be some upset at himself after making the one save. Take a look. He kicks that puck right out in the slot area to Gary Curry. He will be really angered at himself because that is something that we have not seen Smith do, but he did it this time. The worst possible area to kick a rebound out to, right in the slot, especially when the Oilers had a power play.
That time Gretzky won the face-off from Trottier. He gets an assist in the goal. 1:03 the time, a power play goal, and it's a 1-1 game. Here's Edmonton. Don Jackson shooting it in. Going back is Dennis Potvin around on the board to Stepan Pearson. Now to Brent Sutter. Ahead at center to Bourne, but Randy Gregg was there to knock it away. Here's Potvin. Flipping it into Brent Sutter. Sutter and Messier in the corner after it. Now in comes Bourne. Randy Gregg gets the puck, however. To Jackson, leaving it for Linsman. Linsman tied up by Potvin and Pearson. Feeds Bourne as the Islanders come back. Brent Sutter back to Bourne. Bourne, number 14, shoots one. That's deflected wide. Now Dwayne Sutter cleared it around on the boards. The Oilers race out after it, but Thomas Johnson got back in a hurry. Here's Kenny Linsman, number 13. High flip shot. Smith grabs that. Cleared it himself. To Dwayne Sutter, head-manning it to Butch Gorham. Flipped it in. Charlie Huddy knocked it away. Huddy being forechecked by Tonelli and Cote. Had to drop it back to Coffey. Now to Hunter. Ahead on right wing for Ray Cote. In behind the goal. Smith out of the net and gets help from Morrow. He took the Edmonton player out of the play and feeds Nystrom. Bob Nystrom, number 23. Nystrom. In on the boards, trying to make a play. Drops it to Morrow. Shot around on the boards. Butch Goring in there to forecheck. And he and Charlie Huddy hold it against the board for a faceoff. A 1-1 game early in the second period here in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. With Al Albert and Gary Green, this is Dan Kelly at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. The Islanders won, Edmonton won. Face-off coming up in the Edmonton zone. Gretzky wins the face-off from Trottier, and Fogelin clears it to Kevin Lowe. Lowe dropping it back to Fogelin again. Now Fogelin on right wing to Yeri Curry. Curry, who got that goal, is checked. Here's Fosse into Anders Keller. Fogelin checked him, now centered by the Islanders. Moe cleared it away, and the Oilers shoot it down the ice. Johnson back to get it, and that will be an icing call and bring the faceoff back into the Edmonton zone.
Well, as we take a look at Mike Bossy, he did not play that first game of this series. He had tonsillitis, but he definitely played the second game, and he scored a very important goal in that game. Played very well considering he was not at 100%. And he, I think, will probably feel much better in tonight's game after having a few days to recover.
There's Trottier. He's been brilliant in both of the opening games. Right now on a face-off against Gretzky in the Edmonton zone. Trottier wins the face-off to Lane. A shot. Olga stick save there. Anders Keller now to Trottier. Tried to center. Moog knocks it away, and Fogelin shoots it around to Yeri Curry. Held in by Potvin, and Fogelin fires it out on right wing, and here comes Curry. Dugan Anderson now to Gretzky. Into Anderson. Anderson knocked down, and he and Smith slide into the net, and Potvin is going to get a penalty here for pulling down Glenn Anderson. So a penalty against Dennis Potvin for our local affiliates. We'll pause here. You're watching Stanley Cup hockey on USA.
Tomorrow night, Game 2 of the 1983 Major Indoor Soccer League Championships. It comes your way right here on USA as the Baltimore Blast take on the San Diego Sockers. San Diego took care of Game 1 in this best-of-7, which now becomes a very important game for the visiting Blast. Ken Cooper will have his charges and gear for this one. Game time, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific for the MISL Championships. Game 2 right here on USA.
Well, the Oilers will have a power play chance. Dennis Potvin holding penalty. 3:42 of the time. The last time Edmonton had the man advantage, they tied this game. And this has been one part of their game that's put them behind the 8 ball in this series.
It really has, Dan, but let's see what they can do on this one.
Here's Huddy's shot block, and it bounces all the way back into the Edmonton zone. Coffey and Huddy are the point men. Their big line of Gretzky, Anderson, and Curry up front. This is Coffey to Charlie Huddy. Now to Yeri Curry, and the play goes offside at the New York Islander blue line. As you look at the guy that has scored the Edmonton goal, Yeri Curry, the native of Finland.
The Islanders right now forcing the Oilers practically to go offside. The way that the Islanders stand up on that blue line, even when they're killing penalties, makes it very difficult for a team like the Oilers to carry that puck into the zone.
Morrow flips a high one down the ice for New York. Andy Moog out of the goal, feeding Glenn Anderson. Head-manning it to Paul Coffey. Coffey, number 7. Drops it now to Curry. Back to Glenn Anderson. His shot. Smith a stick save. Gretzky has the puck on the board. Centers one out, tipped away, held in by Anderson. Now to Curry. To Anderson behind the net to Gretzky. Gretzky hit it with a high stick. It comes to Huddy. Back to Gretzky. Gretzky out in front. Shot it right through the goal crease. And Billy Carroll is there for New York to clear it away.
The Islanders really force Wayne Gretzky, number 99, behind that net area. They know that's where he loves to set up, so they attack him immediately.
Here's Charlie Huddy leading the Edmonton rush, leaving it for Anderson. His shot, save, Anderson the rebound, gives it to Gretzky. Back to Anderson. Janssen is there for New York, however, and Thomas Janssen flips it and flipped it up over the glass into the crowd. 33 seconds left in Potvin penalty.
Islanders right now playing very aggressively, not letting Edmonton get set up, and that is something that the Oilers do very well once they get possession of it. And if you give them time, they'll move that puck around and they'll find the openings. That is why they have been so successful all year long on their power play, and naturally they have the players like Gretzky, Anderson, Messier, Curry that can finish off in front of that net area.
Mark Messier will take the face-off against Brian Trottier. Messier still suffering from a shoulder problem suffered in the Chicago series. Trottier wins this draw, and Smith cleared it around to Bob Bourne. Bourne is able to fire it out of there, and Lowe goes back to get it. The Islanders in the playoffs with an 87% on the penalty-killing situation. They're one of the best teams in the business at that. Puck shot to center. Pearson firing it right back in. Lee Fogeler back to pick it up to Lowe. Lowe shooting it on the boards. In there is Bourne to intercept, and he freezes it there. Now Bourne takes a push at Kevin Lowe as play was called. Wouldn't take very much at all. Maybe one extra sub to get these fellas going at it. Hammer and tong.
I'm sure tempers are pretty high coming into this game. They'll be higher right now in the second period. Kevin Lowe coming in there after the whistle had already gone. Take a look at it, and adding that extra little bump to Bobby Bourne, who objected very much to that extra little bump. And then we see Linsman and Billy Carroll getting their sticks and their arms high, but luckily nothing came about from it.
Only a few seconds left in Potvin penalty, as a matter of fact, 2. Bourne will take the face-off just outside the Edmonton blue line. The Islanders won, Edmonton won. Here in period number 2, game number 3 of the 1983 Stanley Cup Final. Messier dropping it to John Jackson, now to Randy Gregg. Potvin is back on. The Islanders have killed it off. Puck shot to center ice, cleared in. Langevin now trying to shoot it out, and Brent Sutter comes up with the puck, but then the play is called on the outside of the Islander blue line. The USA Cable Network is bringing you the Stanley Cup Final.
In 1935, Easterners came by the busload to discover the West, and along with it, Levi's 501 jeans, the original button-fly, shrink-to-fit cowboy blue jeans. Modern travel has changed a bit since then, but the Levi's 501 jeans that won the West still shrink to form that uniquely personal relationship with the wearer, like no other jeans you'll ever own. Levi's 501s, the original blue jeans.
Face-off coming up at the Islander blue line, a 1-1 game. The Sutter brothers and Clark Gillies now up front for New York against Linsman, Messier, and Lindstrom for Edmonton. Dave Langevin shooting it around on the boards to Dwayne Sutter. Now Pearson over to Clark Gillies. Randy Gregg pinching in from the point. Here comes Langevin. And some more pushing and shoving. And as we alluded to about a minute and a half ago, it would take somebody not saying excuse me to break this into a little bit of a brawl.
Well, when you take a look, Dan, at that Islander line out there on that particular ship with the two Sutters and Clark Gillies, you're right. It wouldn't take too much for anything to happen. Randy Gregg pinched along the boards, coming low as Clark Gillies was trying to get that puck and get possession of it. Take a look at it way over there along the far boards. Randy Gregg came barreling down, and then Clark Gillies objected to it, got his stick up high, and that's what started the whole episode.
Now the Islanders make a change. Trottier out to take the face-off with Linsman. Linsman is tossed out of the faceoff. Messier takes it, and Trottier wins the draw cleanly. Potback clearing it back to the goal. Here's Trottier. Over on right wing to Bossy, and Bossy circles back. Mike Bossy to Bob Bourne, ahead to Potback. He's knocked down by Messier. The Islanders, Trottier, feeding it to Bourne. Bourne moving in, shoots in. That's deflected just wide. Bourne in the corner, gets it to Bossy. Bossy drops it back. Trottier has it at center ice. They clear it to the Edmonton line, and here's Randy Gregg leading an Edmonton rush into Messier. Shoots one, and he blasted it wide on the short side. And then it bounced off the boards up over the glass.
Well, that puck really ricocheted off. I didn't quite know where it went. Let's take a look, though, at some action along the boards. And Dennis Potvin trying to get the puck out again. Sticks very high. Potvin ending up down. But then we come back with some more action. And that shot by Messier went right off the, actually, I believe it went off the steel part of the, where it holds the plexiglass in, and it ended up rebounding up into the stands.
Here's Potvin, who was in that collision with Messier moments ago. Back is Kevin Lowell for the Oilers. Shot at the center, broken up, and here comes Butch Goring. Goring, number 91. Goring hammered into the boards, and back comes Hunter for Edmonton to Pat Hughes, number 16. Hughes goes wide. Tried to jam it in on the short side, and Smith the save. Now Fogelin shooting. And that deflects wide of the target. Held in by Lowe. Back of the goal. Hughes got it in front. Now it's Hunter. Bumped by Nystrom, but flipped it behind the goal, and we're going to have a penalty here on the play. I believe against Gord Lane of the Islanders. And now Bob Nystrom and Hunter almost got into it. For our local affiliates, we'll pause here. You're watching Stanley Cup hockey on USA.
In between the second and third periods, star-studded intermission. We'll have one of the greatest players of all time, Gordie Howe, taking tonight's game in, and he will join me as he watches some of the players passing up some of his playoff marks in this series. Also, with the Stanley Cup luncheon tomorrow afternoon, awards being given out, we will have the winner of the Masterton Trophy here in between periods. That, along with Gordie Howe, next.
On that last play, Gord Lane had his elbows up high, and elbowing penalty. 7:31 the time. Here's Gretzky trying to center it. Now Bourne on the boards is checked, and Trottier fires it out of there for the Islanders. Edmonton on a power play. Coffey into the center ice area, gave it to Anderson. He was checked, and back comes Bourne. Bourne lost it. Here's Coffey leading a 3-on-2 Oiler rush. Over to Anderson. Anderson behind the net to Gretzky. Gretzky out in front, and fanning on it was Gary Curry, who was wide open. Gretzky got the play made from behind the net, but Curry couldn't finish it up.
Gretzky seeing Curry coming into that slot, really reacted quickly. Close call there for the Islanders.
Here comes Coffey. Edmonton still on the power play as they center one. Knocked away by Janssen, and he hit it with a hand pass to Billy Carroll. And that calls play back.
Number 99, when he gets possession of that puck behind the net, he sees the whole ice surface. That's why he loves to play there. We saw Jari Kurri coming into that slot area. Coffey, he was the one that started the rush initially. But take a look right now at that hand pass that was coming out. That is the reason why stoppage of play was called, Thomas Janssen being that man.
There's number 99, Wayne Gretzky of the Oilers. Continuing a record-setting pace, although slowed a little by the Islanders checking here in this final series. Minute 13 left in the penalty against Lane. Trottier wins the face-off from Gretzky, and Morrow clears it around on the boards. Linsman jammed in by Janssen. Now Messier drops it to Coffey. A shot. Smith the save against his chest, and Morrow cleared it away for the Islanders. Charlie Huddy is back to get it for Edmonton. Huddy, number 22, passing it to Linsman. Linsman leaving it there. Huddy shot. Smith another save, and Now they rule it was hit by a high stick. Play is called, and the faceoff will be moved outside the New York blue line. You know, you look at the Edmonton power play, Gary. 1 for 14 in this game, in this series. They did score a goal tonight. As you look at Gord Lane in the penalty box, their penalty or their power play statistics in the regular season, the best in the league at 29.3. They're down at 20.3 in the playoffs. So their power play, particularly in this series, has been one of their problems.
Very frustrating for the players and for the coaches who can't do much about it during the course of the game, but watch. I know John Muckler, England, say they're having a lot of discussions after that first game, but it didn't improve in the second. At least tonight, they have 1 power play goal.
Meanwhile, the Islanders, the best penalty-killing team in hockey, and that could be the reason. Here's Gretzky on right wing to center ice. Gretzky taken out of the play. Puck comes loose to Coffey. Coffey centered. Wide open in front of the net was Messier, and he fanned on his shot. And then the Islanders clear it away.
Messier's had 2 good opportunities on this power play. That was a perfect one. He couldn't quite connect.
Here's Coffey leading the power play rush again. To Messier, but broken up and shot to center by the Islanders. Charlie Huddy has it there, over to Messier. Messier flipping it in, and he flipped it too high. And over the glass it goes, and now just 3 seconds left in the penalty to that man, Gord Lane of New York.
Once again, it appears as though we've got some discussions going on the ice. Again, tempers a little high. Pearson and Coffey initially, Bourne involved in it. Linsman, he also is having some words. The 2 linesmen right now just trying to talk them into playing hockey. Never mind all of this other curricular activities. Take a look here.
That's where Messier had the chance and really fanned on it.
He really did. Had a good opportunity. Smith would not have been able to move that quickly in order to save it, Dan. Lucky for the Islanders that Messier did misconnect.
There's Pearson for New York as Lane comes back on. Billy Carroll gets the puck into the Edmonton zone, but the play was offside. And hold on, here they go. This has been threatening, and everybody congregates right in front of the Islander bench.
Very dangerous place for them to congregate.
Billy Carroll somewhere is in the middle of it all.
He was the man that originally kind of started the pushing, but we have seen a great amount of this in this game, much more than we did the first 2 periods. First 2 games, I should say, and certainly more than we saw in the first period.
We're live in Uniondale, New York. It's the Islanders 1 and Edmonton 1. A 1-1 game, 10:26 left here in the second period. Face off at the Edmonton blue line as Dennis Potvin flips it in for New York. Randy Gregg is there to get it. Gregg shot it to center. Potvin knocking it down. Ahead to Trottier. Jackson checks in. Now Anders Keller firing it in. Bossy for New York on the boards. Trying to hold it in. Bossy still with the puck. Now gets help from Keller, back to Mike Bossy. Bossy finally checked by Hunter and Jackson. Feeds it to center ice, and here comes Cote number 14 in front to Hunter. Shooting, and Smith got down and made the save, and Trottier comes up with the rebound. Loose puck, Randy Gregg in, pinching from the point to hold it in. Now Potvin trying to clear it. Going to be a penalty against Edmonton. A delayed penalty coming up as Lane feeds Trottier. Trottier dropping it to Potvin. Broken up, and now as Pat Hughes gets the puck. Play is called, and a penalty coming up against the Edmonton Oilers. And I believe against Hunter. Dave Hunter is the man that will go to the penalty box for the Oilers.
Elbowing is going to be the call. He took a real run, though, at Dennis Potvin. That elbow obviously must have been high. 2 minutes for elbowing is the call. Now we will see the New York Islanders on their opportunity on this power play.
An elbowing penalty, 10:32 of the second period against Hunter. This game is up for grabs, Gary Green, 1-1, and now the Islanders get a chance on the power play, and they're at 24.7%, but in the playoffs, 0 for 8, or in the series, 0 for 8.
Well, there's the replay on that penalty. We see Hunter crashing into the boards. Actually, they have been putting a lot of pressure on Potvin. 2 men on top of him at all times.
New York with the man advantage, dropping it to Janssen. Over to Stepan Pearson. In on right wing to Bourne, back to Pearson. Pearson's shot, blocked. Now Bourne a drive off the goal post. With Bourne's shot. Here's Brent Sutter. Vogelin checks him off the puck. And Gretzky shoots it away for Edmonton. Billy Smith setting it up for Pearson. Stepan Pearson on right wing to Dwayne Sutter. Now to Janssen. Into the zone, broken up and cleared out by Vogelin. Gretzky racing down after it. Billy Smith out of the goal. Cleared it on the boards, and Thomas Janssen spins away from a check. And that's a fine play to Pearson. Now to Brent Sutter. New York with the man advantage. Sutter shooting it in. Andy Moog back to the goal, clearing it to Lowe. Pearson at the point, held it in. Now Lowe can't clear it. Here's Brent Sutter, a shot. Moog to save, rebound. And Bossy shot it wide. Pearson at the point for New York. Giving it to Bossy, a shot. Moog to save, rebound. Bossy centered. And it's deflected wide by Brent Sutter as the Islanders come very close. And now Edmonton clear it away.
Bossy, that ship, Bourne, the other ship, both good scoring opportunities.
Here's Trottier to Bossy. Trying to center it, but the whole play was offside at the Edmonton blue line. 29 seconds left in the penalty to Hunter of Edmonton.
I'm not so sure that Andy Moog perhaps wasn't hurt on one of those shots somewhat. Maybe it's just his stick that he is having some problems with, but Bourne on that power play opportunity had a great drive from close in. Bossy, Brent Sutter just steering one to the side of Andy Moog. The Islanders putting on some good pressure on their power play attempt.
The Islanders in this final series 0 for 8 on the power play. As you look at Mike Bossy, and both these teams have much better power plays than they've shown in the final series against each other.
They really have had, Dan, through the course of the year, the best opportunities, or I should say the best percentages, Edmonton especially, but it's got to be frustrating. We took a look at Al Arbor. I'm sure he's shaking his head as to the power play percentages as to why they are so poor.
That's Lee Vogelin bringing a very important piece of equipment to goaltender Andy Moog, goal stick, as he gets ready to defend the rest of this shorthanded situation for the Oilers. 29 seconds left in the penalty to Hunter, as now Vogelin gives some instructions to one of his teammates, Pat Hughes. Puck is in the center ice area. Here's Dennis Potvin to Clark Gillies. Gillies trying to center it. Now over to Trottier. Back to Potvin. That shot deflects wide. Pearson in from the point, drops it to Bossy. Back to Pearson. Shoots one, and that deflected just wide and went over the glass into the crowd. And now we have just 4 seconds left in Hunter's penalty as you look at Pat Hughes, one of the Edmonton penalty killers.
Edmonton right now doing a good job of keeping that puck out of the net, but Andy Moog has had some problems in front. He's got big Clark Gillies, who is just now leaving the ice, but Clark Gillies was right in front of him trying to screen, as was Trottier. The Islanders plot, obviously, trying to get that puck back to the point, letting Potvin getting an opportunity to shoot whenever he could, being difficult for Andy Moog to see when Trottier and big Clark Gillies are standing right in front of you.
Goring ready on this face-off against Ray Cote. Goring gets the puck into the Edmonton zone, and Randy Gregg has it. Gregg shot at the center. Thomas Janssen now clearing one. Comes near the Edmonton line. The Oilers are back at full strength. Jackson shot at the center. Janssen has it there to Ken Morrow. Now to John Tonelli. To Thomas Janssen. He's upended at center ice. Shot in by Edmonton, but the play is offside. Pat Hughes on right wing in ahead of the pass at the Islander blue line.
Well, Pat Hughes had just stayed about 2 strides back of that blue line. It could have meant a breakaway opportunity for him, but the Oilers did the most important thing. They killed off that penalty. The Islanders once again coming up cold on their power play attempt.
Face off in the center ice area. Thomas Janssen for New York in this 1-1 game. Gets it to Goring at center, and he shoots it in. All copy there to clear it. Taken now by Huddy, ahead to Dave Lumley, number 20. Now to Tom Ralston. Ralston trying to break in. Morrow tied him up. Ralston centered it. Janssen knocked it down. Now Coffey a shot. Smith a big save on Paul Coffey. And here comes Butch Goring for New York. Goring all over the place as he twists and turns. Now drops it to Morrow. To Janssen, to Bob Nystrom, who flipped it in. Paul Coffey had a big chance moments ago. Clears one. The puck going into the Washington, or into the Islander zone for Gord Lane, who used to be with the Washington Capitals. Cleared at the center. Coffey dumps it back in, but that's called in an offside, and then Coffey and Nystrom collided after the whistle.
I mentioned earlier, Dennis Potvin seems to be getting a lot of attention by the Oilers tonight, Dan. Every time they dump the puck in to his corner, there are two men in on top of him quickly. I think that's very obvious, the reason why they want to put a lot of pressure on him, try to avoid him handling that puck, and maybe just trying to wear him down somewhat. He's been very, very valuable for this Islander team in playoffs.
Here's Linsman working it to Messier, shoots! And he shot it wide with a low drive. Now Fogelin from the point. Lane blocked that, and Blaine Sutter feeds Brent Sutter. Into Bob Bourne, broken up by Fogelin. Brent Sutter again. Into Bourne in the corner. A jam up there, and now Brent Sutter and Linsman almost got into it. The Oilers work it to Willie Lindstrom. Ahead to Messier. Now to Linsman. Linsman stops on a dime, leaves it for Lindstrom. He's checked. Here's Kevin Lowe with a shot wide. Now Mark Messier back to the goal. Potvin comes up with the puck. Cleared it. Fogelin held it in. Back to Messier. Mark Messier centered. Lindstrom shoots wide. And Dennis Potvin for New York then clears it out of there. And Lowe goes back to get it. Kevin Lowe, a rink-wide pass around in the boards to Mark Messier. Trache took it away from him. Trache to Gilly. He's checked by Lindstrom. Now to Messier. Messier flipping it in. This is Potvin back to get it around in the boards to Ken Morrow. Morrow shot at the center ice. Randy Gregg passing to Gretzky. Gretzky flipping it back into the Islander zone. Ken Morrow trying to clear it. Jackson knocks it down. His shot went off Anderson's skate. Now Gregg behind the goal to Gretzky, intercepting Potvin. Stolen by Gretzky. He centered it, but then Morrow broke it up. And the Islanders are able to clear it. A 1-1 game. Gretzky for Edmonton. Passing to Curry. Harry Curry on right wing. Leaves it to Glenn Anderson. Shot it high off the glass. And Potvin for New York. Feeds Fossey. Fossey poke check by Huddy. Now centered it. Right back come the Oilers with Gretzky. Gretzky shoots one. Smith a stick save there. And he grabs the puck back of the net as Anderson went in to try and poke it loose, and then Morrow gave Anderson a poke or a push behind the net.
Billy Smith really had to stretch it out in order to hold that puck behind the net area. He has to stay on his side of the goal crease, or the goal line, I should say. Watch as Gretzky takes that shot. Smith deflects it easily off into the corners, but here's where he had to stretch. You notice Smith keeps his foot on in the crease area, but all he has to do is keep his foot actually this side, the center ice side of the goal line, in order to avoid a penalty for delay of the game.
Anders Keller scored in the first period for New York. Gary Curry has scored here in the second for Edmonton in a power play, and it's 1-1 as Pearson clears at the center to Trache, now to Butch Goring. Goring trying to drop it back. Semenko intercepts that, and Dave Semenko, number 27, leads an Edmonton rush. Shot in, Smith clearing it aside. Charlie Huddy now behind the goal. Semenko can't get to it, and the Islanders work it to Bob Nystrom. He shot at the center ice. Coffey works it to Lumley, who flips it into the Islanders zone. Pearson back to clear to Bob Nystrom. Nystrom, number 23. Flips it in. Coffey going back. Coffey with a pass over to Ralston. Now to Pat Hughes. Hughes at center ice. Over to Huddy. Charlie Huddy moving in. Huddy trying to center one. Did. Now Hunter in behind the goal. Here's Hughes getting it in front. Now Tom Ralston, a shot. Smith the save, and he cleared the rebound to Potvin. He tried to shoot it out. Now Cote shoots one, and he blasted it wide. Huddy at the point. That shot wide of the target, and John Tonelli shoots at the center to Butch Goring. Goring with a low shot wide. Nystrom after the rebound. Tried to tuck it in under Moog, and Moog made the save, and the Oilers clear it. Puck still in the zone, but Ray Cote comes up with it for Edmonton. This pass to Hunter, number 12. Dave Hunter cleared it behind the goal. Potvin moves it quickly out, and here's Brent Sutter to John Tonelli to Bob Nystrom. Cleared away by Lowe. Now Morrow at center ice shooting one. Hunter gets it and clears it back in for Edmonton. Thomas Johnson with just over 2 minutes left in the second period, and Nystrom. Intercepting is Linsman at center to Lindstrom, number 19. Willie Lindstrom trying to go around Morrow. Use that long reach in the poke check to break it up. Now Johnson for the Islanders leading a rush. Thomas Johnson trying to move in. Backhander, and he shot wide. Bob Nystrom for New York. Holding it in to Clark Gillies. Gillies and Lowe fight for it back of the goal, and the puck is held there. And this game right now is up for grabs and on the verge of going either way. Both teams in a dogfight at this point.
They really are, Dan. You know, one thing about the great defensive part of the Islanders is how well they play in their own end zone, but Thomas Johnson can also play well at the other end. Take a look as he was doing a great job here of handling the puck. Oilers desperately trying to get it away from him. He goes to his backhand, unfortunately for Johnson, a little wide. But back in the Islanders' end zone, they really clog up that middle ice area. They play extremely low. They force the Oilers when they get behind the Islanders' end or net.
Here's Dennis Potvin from the point with a shot that's blocked, and back come Edmonton. Randy Gregg leads this rush. Gregg trying to drop it back, did to Yari Curry. Curry centers to Gretzky, but it's tipped away, and Bourne leads an Islander rush. Bourne able to clear it in, and Curry, number 17, has it for Edmonton. Checked by Dwayne Sutter. He tried to center it to Brent Sutter, and Andy Moog grabbed the loose puck and held on, and we're down to 1:14 left in the period. In our intermission, Al Albert's going to talk to a guy that played, a few games in the league. Maybe even set a couple of records. You probably have never heard of him. What's his name? Gordy?
Well, Howe's the last name.
Howe. Oh, yeah. I knew it had come to me. What a treat Al Albert will have. I guess you have to call Gordie Howe Mr. Hockey.
He really has a name that suits him well, Dan.
Jackson for Edmonton. Checked by Trotze. Tried to center it. That's broken up and now cleared, and Glenn Anderson works at the center. Anderson, number 9. Pearson rides him out of the play. Jackson gets it behind the goal. Here's Glenn Anderson trying to center. We're in the final minute of the second period. Edmonton trying to put some pressure on. Now Jackson at the point, and big Dennis Potvin blocked that. Now Jackson, another drive. Smith the save. Here's Jackson again. To Gretzky, now to Curry. Smith the save. And the Islanders clear it, and Billy Smith comes up big again. Back is Gregg to try and clear it out for Edmonton, and then as the Islanders carry in, the play goes offside. 33 seconds left here. And Curry at number 2 as Wayne Gretzky heads for the Edmonton bench.
Number 99 and his teammates really had some good opportunities in close on Smith. Trotze being out there on that last shift against him. Billy Smith coming up big once again, but we noticed on that last shift the number of good chances close in, and that's where the Oilers are really dangerous, close in around the net. They're quick, they can pass well, and they oftentimes will make that extra move in order to get into a better shooting position.
Here's Hughes trying to drop one into his own zone, and went all the way back to Moog. Fogle, and now to Kevin Lowe. Ahead to number 12, Dave Hunter. Now to number 14, Cote. Cote trying to center. Here's Pat Hughes. Hughes gets it in front of the net. Tied up by Janssen, and Goring comes back for New York. 10 seconds left in the period. Goring to Nystrom. And Kevin Lowe broke it up and cleared it for the Oilers. Morrow to Janssen. We're down to 2 seconds left as Janssen shoots it in, and there is the buzzer to end the second period of Game 3 of the 1983 Stanley Cup Final. The Islanders scored in the first period. Edmonton scored in that second period.
14, Islanders 5.
Coming up, our interview with Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe. The shots on goal in that period favored Edmonton 14-5 in the game, 25-15 in favor of Edmonton, but it is a 1-1 game. After 2 periods, that is the score. Stay tuned for Al Albert's interview with Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe.
2 periods at the Nassau Coliseum. It's the Islanders 1 and Edmonton 1. Harry Curry early in the second period tying this game up at the end of 2. Against the Edmonton Oilers and the great one, Wayne Gretzky, the Islanders looking to make it 3 in a row on their way to 4 straight Stanley Cups. And Wayne Gretzky, not the only great one in National League history. Another one sitting with me right now. Mr. Hockey is called. We'll take the great one, Gordie Howe. I thank you for joining us in between periods. I know you are enjoying this series, taking this one in, also representing Emory Worldwide, and you have a presentation tomorrow.
Right. We're going to Mr. Curry, as a matter of fact. A younger Charlie Huddy, I should say, a young man out in Edmonton, was a plus-minus winner this year. We're very proud of the fact. You know, it's so often sometimes a player that's really truly hasn't got a home, all of a sudden somebody can not believe in him and put him in a lineup and he comes up a winner. And it's just a makeup of what makes a hockey player. Give the guy a break and boy, they'll play their hearts out, what you're seeing here tonight.
Charlie Huddy with a plus 62. It's a plus-minus award, and he will get that trophy tomorrow.
The other kid he had didn't have such a heavy number on his back. He might have been. But Gretzky is right behind him with the 60.
I know Gretzky helped himself out, I think, more than Charlie.
Right. Well, the kid's phenomenal, you know, and it's he made a couple of rushes tonight, and I know there's a young man going to be with you, Lanny McDonald, who had a fantastic year, and he can attest to the greatness of the kid because they unfortunately ran up against him in the playoffs. He can do everything in the game of hockey.
But he has no goals against the Islanders, Wayne Gretzky, in these 3 games, and tonight had several very good opportunities. When does the frustration of being stopped time and again get to you?
Well, if you're strictly a goal scorer, yes, it'll get to you immediately because that's your main support of a living, I guess. But when you're a playmaker such as he, and I think knowing the kid since he was 12, I do believe that he gets just as much a thrill out of setting somebody up because not only does the team, you know, are rewarded by the goal, and goals are what win games, but what happens is the first guy to get thanked is the fellow who sets the individual up, and he kind of likes that. And I know I see him, you can tell that when he gets a little fidgety out there, the gloves, the elbow pads, the skates, and then back to the helmet, and you can tell when a little bit of pressure's on. It's not really true pressure, I don't believe, with the Wayne Gretzky. What I do believe is the frustration of not being able to do more for his teammates, and gosh, only knows how much he's done over the few years, and for hockey itself. If I had his record right now and never scored another goal for 2 years, I'd still be ahead.
What are your thoughts after the first 2 games?
Well, the first 2 games they're surprising. Naturally, I never got out west. I understand Edmonton were just flying, and then the Islanders went in and dictated the play of the game, but I also believe that the fans in Edmonton, to their excitement and almost putting their team up on a pedestal, made them a very nervous bunch of young men, and they fought the nerves. They played a very good game the first game, and I thought with any luck at all, as tonight, they've hit a couple of goalposts. They could be leading this game too. But the second game, the Islanders just played a superb hockey game. They could have played the Russians and beat them that night.
Who do you like in this series?
Well, you can't overlook the Islanders. They definitely got home ice advantage, and they're veterans, so I don't think the home is bothering them that much. If Edmonton's going to sneak out with a game, they better do it tonight because if they lose tonight, you know, this is a veteran team, and if they get by the throat, they kill. They go out there and they get one goal up, and pretty soon you blink an eye, which I can do very easily, and all of a sudden they're up 3. So I'd say if Edmonton's going to do it and prolong the series to 6 or 7 games, they better win tonight.
Well, Gordie Howe, in your great career, you have delivered many messages on the ice. Perhaps in the corner, you might say to somebody, please don't do that again. That's the way you did it. What's your reaction when you see what has gone on, the couple of incidents with Billy Smith?
Well, Billy Smith is I think he studied Harry Lumley's films, because Harry Lumley was very similar in the goaltender. That's his territory. You stay out of that, and I'll stay here and you stay out there. And that's basically what Harry Lumley did in practice. Was identical, but with Harry Lumley in those days, they never wore masks. So he showed a lot of guts by doing that, because all of a sudden somebody come in, fire the puck high, and the way they're shooting the puck nowadays, you have to be a little careful. But he's game. He's in there, and never mind the stick swing, and what he has displayed tonight as a goaltender talent has been just fantastic. And sometimes a goaltender will be a little lucky where they're, you know, deflecting off a pad, maybe off the last roll in the pad, maybe off the toe of the skate. But what he's doing, he's got everything square. He's got square in the middle of the pad, and he's got a good glove on at the backhand. He's completely stopping the puck. Hardly anything's getting by him.
I just had one thought watching on, and Mike Bossy ties your goal mark for the playoffs. Dennis Potvin passes your assist mark. I figured the only thing you could do was come. No, I figured you could come out of retirement and get him.
No way. I'm extremely proud. It's you know, with now with the game being built around scoring, it's really nice to see, because actually the seats I'm sitting in are very expensive seats, and I'm fully entertained. And what makes it is the near misses and the good plays and the goals. So that's more power to those kids. You know, I appreciate Potvin. I definitely appreciate young Bossy.
Well, the ambassador for Emery Worldwide will make the Emery Edge presentation tomorrow at the Stanley Cup Luncheon. Gordie Howe, the original Grade 1, thanks for joining us in between periods.
Thank you. As everybody said, I'm half as good. There was a 99 out there now.
For Gordie Howe being our guest, USA would like you to have this exciting new Kodak disc camera, the disc camera that's so easy to use, you never miss a picture. Coming up next, the winner of the 1983 Masterton Trophy. He'll join us in the studio after these words.
After 2 periods of play at the Nassau Coliseum, it's the New York Islanders 1, the Edmonton Oilers 1. The only scoring play in the second period, a power play goal by Gary Curry, his 7th of the playoffs at 1:05. Second period was dominated by the Oilers. They outshot the Islanders 14-5, and here's the only goal.
Well, right off the face-off, Gretzky got the shot, but Billy Smith, as we had said before, gave that rebound in a dangerous spot right out to the slot area. Gary Curry, being the man, Johnny on the spot, put that puck then right in behind Billy Smith.
Meanwhile, Billy Smith is the man of the hour again for the New York Islanders in that second period. The Oilers could have really taken the lead in this game.
They really could, Dan, if it hadn't have been once again for Billy Smith. I hate to use the word awesome. He was almost breathtaking in that period again. He has really played well throughout the course. He wants to win, Dan. Let's face it. He wants to win 4 straight. Nothing less for Billy Smith.
Meanwhile, as Gordie Howe was talking about, he looks so confident in that goal crease, and he's not just getting a piece of shots, he's getting them dead on.
And it's amazing as well how he can keep his eye on that puck at all times. To me, there seems to be sometimes where there's 3 and 4 players in the sight line of that puck, but yet he still is able to somehow get his eye on it and come up with big saves. You know, he can play all different positions. He gets down in a crouch, he's down on his back, but he still stops the puck no matter how you look at it.
And the Oilers have played a much better game here tonight in Game 3 than they did in Game 2 when they were bounced 6-3 in Edmonton. But it is anybody's game, a 1-1 game, as we move into period number 3. Anders Keller scored in the first period. Andy Moog is in goal for Edmonton. And then Gary Curry scored in the second. The shots on goal in the game so far favor Edmonton 25-15.
Andy Moog really, Dan, has played pretty well tonight. He has only been tested for 15 shots. but he has still come up much bigger than he did in the second game, where he wasn't too happy with himself, and I don't think anyone was too happy with the way that Andy Moog. A couple of soft goals perhaps in game number 2, but he is back on his game tonight, and again, playing well.
Game 4 of this series will be Tuesday night. You'll see it on USA at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Here we go with period 3 of game 3, and Wayne Gretzky and the Oilers in this 1-1 game jumping in. Cleared on the board. Trottier trying to shoot it out of there. Puck back of the goal. Anderson and Trottier fight for it. Here's Gretzky with a chance, and he shot it wide. Clark Gillies now for New York. Clearing it into the center ice area to Potvin, out of Mike Bossy. His shot blocked, and Gretzky gets it for Edmonton. Thierry Curry now to Anderson. Anderson poke checked in the play by Pearson, and Trottier back to get it, and now Pearson has been injured. He looks at the referee, wanted a penalty called, none was. And the Oilers try and jam up and hold the puck in. Gretzky with a shot, and now it's taken by Dennis Potvin. Bossy ahead to Clark Gillies. Gillies dropping it back, and Thierry Curry takes over and flips it in for Edmonton. Johnson shooting it right back out. This is Brent Sutter. Glove save by Moog on that high shot, and he held on to it. And the faceoff will be in the Edmonton zone.
Well, let's take a look at some action down in the Islanders' end zone. Anderson and Pearson doing a little pushing, but look at the way that Anderson's stick came up and got it right in Stephen Pearson's face. Stephen Pearson ends up with Glenn Anderson's stick, in fact, but I think that one hurt.
Pearson was looking for Brian Lewis for a penalty call, but none was. Faceoff coming up in the Edmonton zone. Ray Cote against Butch Goring on this faceoff. Linesman Ron Finn getting both players set. Puck is dropped. Goring gets it back to Janssen. He gets it into the corner, and Gregg shoots it around to the board. John Tonelli stealing it. Centered it. Nystrom held it in. Now Randy Gregg clears it, and the Oilers work it to Pat Hughes. Now to Hunter, number 12. Into Cote, a shot. Smith the save. And Tonelli clears the rebound. Puck in behind the goal. Morrow jamming in there with Hunter. Now it's centered, cleared away by Smith. Goring tried to shoot it out. Gregg held it in for Edmonton. The Oilers trying to put some pressure on. Drop it to Randy Gregg. A drive. Blocked at the defense. Loose puck, and Nystrom has it for New York. And now the play is called because of a hand pass from one Islander to another. And the faceoff will be in the New York zone.
Well, as we take a look at a fine young defenseman for the New York Islanders, Thomas Janssen, he has played extremely well this season. Al Arbour very happy with the way that he has progressed. He has, at some points in times in this Stanley Cup playoffs, he has been the Islanders' most valuable defenseman for certain games. But then again, he's got Dennis Potvin that is taking most of the pressure off as far as the most valuable defenseman for the Islanders.
Here's Messier winning a face-off to Copy. That shot, Smith got a piece of it. Pearson now clears, and Dwayne Sutter pokes it to center. Copy back to get it, works it to Linsman. To Messier. Now back to Linsman. He's bumped by Langevin and knocked down, and Big Dave Langevin shot it to center ice. There's Brent Sutter. Now to Bob Bourne. Bourne cutting in. Cuts right behind the net and then lost control of it. And Messier speeds back for Edmonton. Over onto the wing to Lindstrom. Got it behind the net. Pearson for New York. Clears to Dwayne Sutter. At center ice to Brent Sutter, who circles back. Brent Sutter, the younger of the two Sutters, the long shot, Moog the save, and Wayne Gretzky has it. Thierry Curry. Curry clearing it to Messier, back to Gretzky, and intercepting that is Dennis Potvin. Ahead to Brian Trottier. Vogelin rubs Trottier out of the play on the boards. The Islanders get it back to Potvin. Potvin drive, Moog the save, rebound. Cleared by Moog into the corner. Here are the Islanders, Bossy to Caller out in front. Now Trottier loses his stick, and Bossy dropped it to Potvin. Puck at center ice. Mike Bossy carrying back in. To Trottier. Back to Bossy. He missed it. Gord Lane at the point for the shot. That deflected wide. Center to Keller, who was open but fanned on it. And back come Edmonton. Trottier breaks it up at center ice, and here's Nystrom. He's knocked down at the blue line. The Oilers coming up with it, and Lee Fogelin has it for Edmonton. Now Lowe went to clear it. Nystrom held it in. Here's Nystrom into forecheck. Puck held on the boards now, and Lowe clears it to Hunter at center. Hunter circling back, has to flip it back into the corner. Fogelin shot it off the boards, and away comes Cote on left wing to Hunter. Hunter cutting in, and Billy Smith cleared that away. Bob Nystrom lost it. Cote for Edmonton. In behind the goal, but a good play by Johnson to break it up for New York. And now to Ken Morrow. To John Kennelly. Into the Edmonton zone, but broken up by Hunter. Here's Cote to Pat Hughes, number 16. Hughes trying to go wide. Backhander, and Smith makes the save, and Johnson clears it to center. Racing after it is Brent Sutter. Trying to go around Jackson, and Don Jackson took Sutter out of the play. This game going at a furious clip at this point. Hughes takes a hard hit from Langevin, but cleared it to Hunter. And now play is on into the Islanders zone. The fans thought that a penalty was being called, but none was. Back comes Dwayne Sutter. He centered it. Cleared away by the Oilers. Now Bourne centers. Pearson at the point. Shooting. They score! Bob Bourne!
Bobby Bourne standing right on the side of the net as Stephen Pearson winds up with that shot. Moog made the save, but the puck bounced over right to the crease area where Bobby Bourne was standing there. He was all alone, except with Dave Langevin standing there as well, almost able to set up a screen for Bourne so that no Oiler could actually get at him.
And did you notice how careful Bourne was not to go in that goal crease?
He really was, Dan, and that was a very smart move because it avoided perhaps the goal being called back. Islanders coming up once again in a clutch situation with a very important goal.
And they love it at the Nassau Coliseum. Listen to them as the Islanders take the lead at 2-1. Here we go as we move back to the live action of this third period. Puck is into the Edmonton zone. Charlie Huddy back to get it. Trying to clear one. Puck comes down for Gord Lane, and now back to the play. Dave Lumley has been injured, and he gets up slowly, and play is called. Coast-to-coast coverage of the National Hockey League. Hold on. As Huddy almost gets into it with some of the...
Fresh and clean as a whistle. That's Irish Spring. Fresh and clean as a whistle. Irish Spring's green and white stripes have two truly effective deodorants. Two deodorants.
And a fine, fresh scent.
So you're fresh and...
clean as a whistle.
Irish Spring deodorant soap gets you fresh and clean as a whistle.
Well, we almost got something going there as Lumley was injured on the play, and then sticks got very high as everybody came back into the Edmonton end of the rink.
Clark Gillies came charging down from the neutral ice area. It looked like we were going to have a real Donnybrook, but the linesmen reacting quickly were able to separate it before it got started.
The scoring play for New York. Bourne, his 8th goal to the playoffs. Pearson and Langevin the assists. And it gives the Islanders a 2-1 lead. 5:11 of the third period, the time. No penalties on that last play as the puck is flipped in by Edmonton. Here's a chance for the Oilers. Back to Charlie Huddy at the point. In behind the goal to Tom Ralston. He centered one, and Nystrom breaks it up. Nystrom for New York. Moving in, and Wayne Merrick apparently in just slightly ahead of the play. There is Merrick, number 11, and that play called back because of an offside.
Merrick right now on that last shift, he was centering Bobby Nystrom and Clark Gillies, two big, strong, tough, aggressive wingers that looked on that last minute as though they were out to destroy. Glenn Sather right now, he's having, well, a problem, I think, getting his hockey club ahead in any game in this series.
Here's Anders Keller shooting it in behind the Edmonton goal. Lowe is there. Third and Gretzky breaks loose to Anderson, number 9. Anderson crossing center and shooting it in for Gary Curry. Now Anderson shoots one right through the goal crease, and that deflected just wide. Here comes Trottier for New York. To Anders Keller. Keller to Trottier. And across the line to Ken Morrow. He scores! Kenny Morrow!
Well, this is a shot very similar to Dave Semenko's goal in Game 2. Caught the goaltender off guard. In this case, it was Andy Moog. Good wrist shot by Morrow. Just flicks it from the slot area, but it catches the open area. From that particular angle, Andy Moog thought that he had the short side covered, but it wasn't covered. And in fact, had enough room for it for Kenny Morrow to find an open space to put the Islanders ahead 3-1.
Ken Morrow's fourth goal to the playoffs. Trottier gets an assist, as does Anders Keller. 6:21 of the third period at the time, and a 3-1 Islander lead. And these Oilers are in trouble here. They're down 2 games to nothing and down in Game 3 by a 2-goal margin. The Oilers punch up and try and forecheck, but Langevin fell on top of the puck. With the score, New York 3, Edmonton 1. We'll pause right here.
In the last known photograph of the Dalton gang, Bob and Grat Dalton are both wearing Levi's original blue jeans. They probably never gave their choice a lot of thought, and 100 years later, Levi's jeans still give you a lot not to think about. Workmanship that'll never let you down. Comfort you know you can count on, and style that fits in without question. Levi's jeans. The more you think about them, the more you realize you don't have to.
The New York Islanders 3, the Edmonton Oilers 1, 13 minutes, 22 seconds left here in the third period. That goal by Ken Morrow is 4th of the playoffs, his 2nd of this final series. And what a big one that is. Here is a loose puck at center ice as Randy Gregg chases back after it. Over on left wing to Jackson. He shoots it to the Islander line. Dave Langevin trying to clear it to Pearson. And the Islanders clear at the center. Bob Nystrom after it. Now picked up by Goring. Here comes Goring trying to break in. He shot it wide as he was upended, and then he looked back and thought a penalty should have been called. Now Nystrom steals it. His shot is high off the glass. Hunter for Edmonton to Cote. A 2-on-2 Edmonton break. Cote trying to flip it through, and Stefan Pearson gets it for New York. To John Tonelli. Dave Langevin works it to Tonelli, now to Nystrom. And Bob Nystrom fires it into the Edmonton zone. Back to get it for the Oilers is Linsman to Messier, back to Linsman. Kenny Linsman speeding into the Islanders zone. Passing it over Messier, a shot. Smith, another big save. And it's cleared away by New York. Huddy back to touch it, icing the call. Billy Smith has a 1.50 goals against average in this final, and you see why. And for our local affiliates, we pause here.
Another great tennis event hits the USA screen tomorrow night from Dusseldorf, West Germany. It's the very competitive World Team Cup, and the American entry is as powerful as ever. Semi-final action will commence at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. 3:30 Pacific. Then the finals comes your way Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. The best tennis found anywhere is found right here on the USA Network.
With Al Albert and Gary Green, this is Dan Kelly. Third period action of Game 3 of the '83 Stanley Cup Final, and the Islanders win a face-off and clear it to center. Wayne Sutter flips it into the Edmonton zone. Charlie Huddy back to get it. Coffey behind the goal to Huddy. Huddy on the right wing boards to Lindstrom. He shot it to center. That's knocked down by Potvin. Now a loose puck near the Edmonton line, taken by Bourne. Here's Bob Bourne with a shot. Moog to save. Now centering pass to Sutter from Lane is knocked away. Bourne holding it in to Dwayne Sutter. He tried to center, and Messier comes back for Edmonton. Messier leaving it for Willie Lindstrom. Lindstrom upended, and New York will get a penalty here. And as they get possession, now play is called. And Edmonton will have a power play chance out of this. We're live in Uniondale, New York, where the Islanders lead the Edmonton Oilers 3-1.
Introducing the new front-wheel drive Toyota Camry. It does not have a fireplace, but it does have living room, elbow room, headroom, tow room, family room. For families who are a size above average, for families who like to spread out. There's lots of feet for your feet, lots of living room for anyone, and a tough new engine with quick pickup and great mileage. The new Toyota Camry, not just the family car, the family Camry.
Oh, what a feeling, Camry. Toyota.
There's Bob Bourne in the penalty box for New York. Tripping the call, 8:34 or 8:39 the time, I should say. And here's the penalty.
Well, Bourne here stretching it out, ends up tripping Lindstrom, and that is exactly why the Oilers right now will have a chance to perhaps get within one goal of striking the Islanders. Down 3-1.
Edmonton with a power play chance. Bourne, meanwhile, scored a big goal to give them the lead. And then Morrow gave them a 2-goal lead. Bourne has been their leading scorer in these playoffs with 27 points. There's Butch Goring breaking up a play at center ice. Puck shot in, knocked down by Glenn Anderson. Anderson getting it in across the line. Broken up, and Goring picks an opening and clears it down the ice. This is Paul Coffey. Coffey trying to work it through. Ken Morrow was there defensively, and what a standout he's been, gimpy knee and all for the Islanders.
He really has, Dan. He's so important in the defensive defenseman role.
There's Coffey. He's poke checked by Morrow. Now Anderson tied up. Coffey in the corner. Back to Curry at the point. Curry checked in the play, and Trottier breaks out for New York. Hit across the line. He's checked, and Anderson gets it for Edmonton. Wayne Anderson ahead to Gretzky. Back to Anderson. Ken Morrow is there again defensively for New York. This time Curry checked him. Here's Fogelin over to Lowe. Centers to Curry. In front, Gretzky shot it just wide. Now Gretzky again trying to center. Billy Carroll intercepting that. And then Carroll fires it down the ice. And the Islander penalty killing is a very big factor here.
It really is. You know, on that last opportunity by the Oilers, Glenn Anderson had lost his stick. That almost means a 4-on-4 situation.
Here is Lowe for the Oilers, firing it in. 10 seconds left in Bourne's penalty. Held in by Fogelin. Now a centering pass. Gretzky just missed tipping it in. Lowe behind the goal to Hughes. Pat Hughes flipping it in to Hunter in the corner. He's knocked down. The Islanders, Bourne out of the penalty box, able to clear it. It went off an Edmonton player, so there'll be no icing. And back is Fogelin. Just over 9 minutes left in regulation time as the Islanders punt back. Works it to Bob Nystrom. He skated off, and Lowe gets it for Edmonton. To Pat Hughes, burying it to Tonelli. He centered one. Now Nystrom stole it. He shot wide, and Lowe gets it for Edmonton. Lowe with a pass that's behind Hunter and goes the length of the ice. Morrow is there to touch it, and we get an icing call on the play. For our local affiliates, we'll pause here. You're watching Stanley Cup Hockey on the USA Cable Network.
And now in the late stages of the third period, we start to think about the Stanley Cup star. Will it be the Islanders' Bob Bourne, who put the Islanders in front, Bourne the leading scorer for the Islanders in the playoffs, or Kenny Morrow, who added the insurance goal and has been a key factor for the Islanders in the playoffs? Or perhaps Billy Smith, once again, spectacular. He faced 25 shots in the first two periods. Reminder, Game 4 right here on USA Tuesday night, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
There you see the time remaining in regulation time, 8 minutes 37 seconds, a 3-1 Islander lead. If it ends this way, the Islanders would have a 3-0 stranglehold on this Stanley Cup final series. Here's Willie Lindstrom to Mark Messier. Messier into the corner with Morrow, now to Willie Lindstrom. He can't center it, and Wayne Sutter has the puck for New York. Sutter holding it against the boards, and we'll have a stoppage in play and a face-off in the New York zone as you look at Dwayne Sutter of the Islanders.
He is one reason amongst 19 others as to why this Islander Hockey Club are so great in the third periods when they have leads. They just seldom get beat. In fact, coming into tonight's hockey game, whenever they had the lead going into the third period, that is, they have not been defeated yet this year in 11 opportunities.
Here's Morrow, who's had a goal and an assist for the Islanders tonight. Thirded on the boards, a jam up there, and it's held. Anders Keller, Bob Bourne, and Ken Morrow have scored the goals. Morrow has a goal and an assist to lead them offensively. The only Edmonton goal by Yeri Curry in the second period on a power play as you look at some of the box or private boxes at the Nassau Coliseum. Meanwhile, you go back to some of the saves Billy Smith made in that second period. This could be a very different game.
It could be a big difference, especially for these Oilers. It could be a difference in the series if it hadn't been for Billy Smith. Goaltending is the key to Stanley Cup playoffs.
Face-off coming up in the Islander end of the rink. Smith has a 1.50 goals against average coming into this period of Game 3 in this series. That's the kind of goal he's given Al Arbor and his Islanders. Now Sutter and Langevin trying to hold it there. The Oilers center it. Comes to Jackson at the point. Don Jackson with a shot, and Pearson blocks that. Brent Sutter, a clearing pass. Wayne Sutter racing after it with Randy Gregg. Gregg takes Sutter out of the play, and Jackson is able to get the puck. The Oilers trailing by 2, and in danger of being down 3-0 in the series. Here's a pass to Tom Ralston. He's checked, and now the Islanders come up with it and shoot at the center ice. Charlie Huddy has it there. Knocked away. Third back in, and Anders Keller races in for New York. Keller taken out of the play, continues to battle. Gets it to Trottier. Trottier checked, but here's Mike Bossy. Bossy back to Potvin. To the side of the net to Trottier. He gets it in front, but Huddy has Keller tied up. Now the loose puck taken by Tom Ralston. Clearing it to the line, held in by New York. Keller and Coffey jam up and hold it, and now we have a stoppage in play.
Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Oilers and the Islanders will come your way Tuesday night. We'll be on the air from right here at the Nassau Coliseum beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 Pacific. Be sure to be with us all through the finals here on USA. Tuesday night, Game 4, the Islanders and Oilers, starting at 8 p.m.
6 minutes, 51 seconds left in the third period. The Islanders 3 and Edmonton 1.
I would expect you would see Gretzky's line, who are on there right now, Dan. They will be on every second shift, I would think, seeing how their team is down 2 goals.
Gary, are the Islanders doing anything specifically to Gretzky in this game or this series?
No, not necessarily, Dan. They're watching him closely, but I think they're taking away the back of the net that he plays so well, and they're taking away the close-in opportunities in front of the net.
He's been held scoreless. He's had 3 assists in the series, but has not had a goal. Here's Fogelitz trying to clear it out. Comes to center, and Gretzky has it for Edmonton and dumps it in. Going back, Janssen trying to clear it. Now Gretzky gets it into the corner. Janssen is there to shoot it on the boards. Here's Lowe flipping it back to the net. Gretzky and Janssen are there, and Janssen's on him in a hurry, which is the point Gary was making earlier. Lowe at the point, a shot. Smith the save, and Gretzky was well tied up in front of the net by Janssen, and Smith was able to freeze the puck.
Smith is so observant as well, Dan. You know, I think in that situation, he might have put that puck off in the corner to keep it going, but instead, he knew who was out there on the ice. Number 99 was close by. He wasn't going to give that guy an opportunity to perhaps get his first goal in this series against the New York Islanders.
Gretzky has an assist on the first goal of the game, now has 37 in the playoffs, which is an all-time record, but in the 3 games has been held scoreless. Billy Smith coming into the 3rd period of Game 3 with a 1.50 goals against average in this series. And Mister, you can write down 1.50, and that tells you a lot about this series.
It sure does, Dan, and especially against the Edmonton Oilers of all teams.
The highest scoring team ever in the history of hockey, and they did it this year. Here's Thomas Janssen flipping it in. Yeri Curry is there for Edmonton. Passing it to Lowe. Lowe got the center. Checked by Anders Kaller. And now Kenny Morrow for New York with the puck. Played it off the boards into the Edmonton zone. Lowe is back to pick it up for Edmonton. Lowe on right wing to Curry. Here's Thomas Janssen breaking up another rush. And now leading one. Tabasi off his skate. Vogelin tries for Edmonton. To Gretzky. Gretzky trying to go around Brent Sutter. He drops it to Yeri Curry. Now to Messier. That shot went wide as Messier fired. Now another shot by Jackson, and Thomas Janssen held it against his chest with his arm. And that little guy has played some big hockey for the Islanders.
He really has, Dan. He has also been under a lot of pressure in the corner areas. Al Arbor, I think, has got to be pretty proud of the way that his defense have really withheld a lot of forechecking by the Oilers, because in Game 1 and this game as well, Oilers have really dominated as far as play, time of play in the Islanders' end zone, but the score dictates something else different.
There's Langevin for New York, trying to clear one down the ice, does, and it's going to be an icing call against the Islanders, and another face-off down in the New York zone now with 5:03 to play, as you look at Don Jackson, the Minnesota defenseman, who looks like he's found a home as a regular in the NHL.
Well, as someone said today, no one really wanted Don Jackson, but I'll tell you, the Edmonton Oilers sure want him, and they want him for the future because he has played well as a sixth defenseman. Put him in his right spot, he has played well for the Oilers.
From the face-off, Langevin coming up with the puck for New York as Brent Sutter won the draw, and Dave Langevin picks an opening and fires it down the ice again, only this time Brent Sutter races in after it, so there's no icing. Sutter was onside in the play. Gregg now pins him in against the boards, and the Islanders will force a face-off in the Edmonton end of the ring.
You know, Dan, you talk about a guy like Don Jackson and Randy Gregg in the same light. They don't get a great amount of attention. Defensive defensemen that go out there and they kill a lot of penalties, are used in defensive situations. They don't pinch a great deal. They kind of tend to back up and play it very cautiously. But those type of defensemen are important to round out your hockey club. They're not like the Huddies and the Paul Coffeys, but they are important to your hockey club. And this guy here, he is the most important ingredient to your hockey club.
They're going to start calling him Mr. May.
Or Mr. Hockey.
Mr. Goaltender. Billy Smith has been superb. Here is Dennis Potvin from the point with a shot wide. And Hunter breaks out on left wing. Ahead to Hughes. That's knocked away. Potvin now shooting at the center, and here's Tonelli, number 27. Trying to go around Charlie Huddy. He did. Nystrom a shot. Moog the save. And then Tonelli a shot, and Moog stopped that and held on to it. And there you see the hustle of Nystrom and Tonelli, and it almost paid off for New York with a goal.
They aren't pretty to watch, Dan, but they sure are entertaining in the way that they give it so much effort out there. It is unbelievable. They're like bull terriers. They've got incredible endurance. Nystrom, Tonelli there gave Andy Moog some real problems.
The Islanders 3, Edmonton 1, as the puck is now cleared down into the New York zone. Dennis Potvin back to get it, and an icing call against the Edmonton club. We're down to 4 minutes, 17 seconds left in the third period. A 3-1 Islander lead.
I think Gordie Howe summed it up very well, Dan, about number 99, Wayne Gretzky. I think he's been somewhat probably disappointed in himself because he hasn't helped his teammates more, but he is a very talented hockey player. One of the greatest things that has happened to this game. A class gentleman on and off the ice. Gretzky got a great many years yet to play in this game.
And I think he'll be the first to tell you that Goring, Tonelli, and Nystrom have played a big part in his being held scoreless. He's that kind of a guy. Puck into the corner. Here he is. Butch Goring shoots, and he shot it high. Off the glass. Thomas Janssen behind the net to Goring. He can't center it, and Charlie Huddy worked it on the boards, and Wayne Gretzky comes up with the puck. Flipping it to Huddy. Charlie Huddy cleared it into the New York zone. Here's Coffey trying to center it. He did. Now Gretzky able to poke it into the corner, but the Islanders shoot it right back out. And Huddy has to go back near his own blue line. And Nystrom's on top of him. Pass to Coffey. Here's Thomas Janssen. Trying to flip it in. John Tonelli gets it for New York. Tonelli, number 27. That shot is high and over the glass into the crowd.
Interesting when you're trying to defend the lead as the Islanders are. The three players Al Arbour had out in that shift: Nystrom, Tonelli, and Trottier. Three great defensive-minded hockey players who don't just lay back in the neutral ice area. They put pressure on the opposition by doing it smartly, keeping one man back. Al Arbour doesn't want his hockey club to lay back. He wants them to put pressure on, but make sure defensively they don't get caught on 2-on-1 breakaways or 3-on-2s.
Here are the Islanders with Wayne Sutter centering one. Bob Bourne over to get it. Bourne for New York in front of, backhander by the score! And it's 4-1 for the Islanders.
Wayne Sutter, I believe it was, that was ended up putting that puck in the net. Very difficult at times. Brent 21, Dwayne 12. Those numbers can get changed around, but let's watch closely. Brent in front of that net getting the shot off originally, but then it was Dwayne that kept pounding, I believe, in order to put it behind. Let's make sure by looking at it from another angle. Brent takes the shot, but is it held by Moog? No, it wasn't. It was loose, and Dwayne Sutter gave it that extra little pounce and push with the stick, and that push with the stick did some good as it went behind Andy Moog to put the Islanders in a very clinching 4-1 lead.
And on the verge of going ahead 3-0 in the series. Wayne Sutter gets the goal. And the Islanders have a 4-1 lead. Bob Bourne gets an assist. So does Brent Sutter. 16:43 of the third period. The time. That's Clark Gillies of the Islanders you see on your screen. And there's the Islander bench and their patient and very brilliant coach Al Arbour. His club with a 4-1 lead and about to take a 3-0 stranglehold lead on this series.
I think it would take a miracle on ice right now for the Oilers to come back and win this hockey game.
Here's Wayne Merrick trying to shoot it in. Broken up, Lumley knocks it down, and now back comes Merrick. Merrick in across the line, broken up. Clark Gillies gets it. He's checked, and Tommy Ralston works it ahead on right wing to Dave Lumley. Over to Semenko, now to Ralston. Ralston checked in the play. And Wayne Merrick fires it in for New York. We're down to 2.5 minutes to play. Gary Green, if I had told you that Edmonton would score only 4 goals in the first 3 games of this series, you would have had me committed somewhere.
I certainly would have, Dan. I wouldn't have believed it. You wouldn't have. I just don't think anybody expected this Islander hockey club to be ahead 3-0 after 3 games, and that's the way it looks as though it's going to be.
And to hold the highest scoring team in the history of hockey to just 4 goals in 3 games. That's what it's been so far. Here's Hughes on right wing, moving in. He spun around, centered it. Smith is there to grab it and hold on to it. And Billy Smith causes a stoppage in play, and how brilliant the 32-year-old native of Perth, Ontario has been again tonight.
He really has, Dan. Watch here is Bourne at the opposite end. Puts some pressure on Moog, but throws that puck out into the front area. Brent Sutter taking the shot. Dwayne Sutter scoring the goal.
The Islanders with a 4-1 lead, and this crowd revved up behind them. A minute 54 to play. Of course, we can tell you that only once in the history of the Stanley Cup has a team ever been behind 3-0 in a final and come back to win the Cup, and that was way back in the 1940s. So that's seemingly the task the Edmonton Oilers will face as the Auditors go after Stanley Cup number 4. Here's the centering pass, and Smith held it against the side of his goal. And we'll have another face-off in the New York zone with now a minute 36 to play. Billy Smith playing Stanley Cup playoff game number 101 and having some fun.
How many times, Dan, during the course of the regular season have we talked about goaltending and said that it's important in every game, but once you come to playoffs, goaltenders, hot goaltenders, can oftentimes win you series. Well, I think Billy Smith in this series, if they end up winning it, will be the reason why.
Face off in the Islander zone. Cote clearing it in behind the goal. Hunter in to try and get it. Now Coffey, and now the sticks go up on the boards. Morrow and Hunter trying to get at each other. And everybody from both teams gathers in the corner, including the 2 linesmen and the referee.
I think Morrow jumped in there very quickly.
Paul Coffey that's into the middle of it, too.
Once Bossy was in there, Hunter was laying on a little shoulder, I think, a little bit too much weight on Mike Bossy. Morrow quick to jump in there.
I mentioned that only once in Stanley Cup history has a team come back and been down 3-0. That was way back in 1942. The Toronto Maple Leafs lost the first 3 games of the series to the Detroit Red Wings. Came back and took the next 4, but that's the only time it's ever happened.
Well, we take a look there of exactly why Mike Bossy was a little upset and why Ken Morrow was upset to see his very talented right winger on his hockey club getting mugged the way that he was by Dave Hunter.
Glenn Sather and the Oilers, and the penalty on the play to Hunter, a holding call, 18:33 the time. So a 4-1 Islander lead, and now a New York power play as the Islanders are about to take a 3-0 stranglehold lead in this best-of-7 Stanley Cup final series. Dennis Potvin for New York. He's also been very prominent in this final series and in the playoffs, as he usually is for the Islanders. Here's Butch Goring. He's checked now. Pearson to Bob Nystrom. Nystrom in the final minute of this game. Into the corner, getting it to John Tonelli. Tonelli trying to work it in front. Tonelli dropping it to Pearson. Over to Potvin. Into Tonelli, a drive, and Mo got a piece of that. Now Yeri Curry couldn't clear it. Here's Tonelli to Butch Goring. To Nystrom. That shot was a dribbler and was wide of the net, and Mo grabbed it and held on. And these Islanders are putting on a show for the hometown fans tonight.
They really are, Dan. And Goring, Tonelli, and Nystrom on that last shift, there was no way they were going to let the Oilers, it seems, out of their own end zone. Tremendous pressure. Great strength on that line. Lots of determination. They may not have the greatest talent, especially when you're speaking of Tonelli and Nystrom, but they have one very great point, Dan, and that is they've got tremendous character.
Here's Dennis Potvin with a shot block. Now Dwayne Sutter back to Potvin. To Thomas Janssen. Islanders on the power play and leading 4-1. Dwayne Sutter to Potvin. Shot. They score! Brent Sutter, I believe, deflected it. And it's 5-1 Islanders.
a look at it. And let's watch in front of that net area. But Potvin, he was the guy that took the shot. Let's follow that puck closely. Right in front of that net area. Well, it was difficult to tell, but it does appear that it went off of a skate anyway. Whether it was Brent Sutter's or Don Jackson's, we'll have to await the official announcement.
Meanwhile, a power play goal for the Islanders, and it's 5-1 New York. Brent Sutter did get the goal on the deflection. Now with just seconds left, the Islanders clear up the center ice. The game is over. The New York Islanders defeat the Edmonton Oilers 5-1 and have a 3-0 lead in the 1983 Stanley Cup final. Do you think they're thinking Stanley Cup on Long Island?
You see those cups all around this building, and it's no wonder why.
Billy Smith, there's Al Arbor, the Islander coach. The last goal, Brent Sutter, his 10th of the playoffs. Dwayne Sutter and Potvin the assists. 1942 the time, and now some of the Oilers are into it, but the fans in behind the Edmonton bench, including Glenn Sather. And there's a melee in behind the Edmonton bench. Some of the police over there. Sather is on the bench, but pointing to some spectators who apparently were bothering he and some of his players. So the final score, the Islanders 5, Edmonton 1. Our post-game activities coming right up.
Okay, guys, I was a little off. We're not on Route 35. We're on Jackrabbit Road.
Jackrabbit Road?
Yeah, we're not in Pennsylvania. We're in West Virginia.
West Virginia?
They got some great-looking steaks inside, and Lowenbrow on tap.
Let's go.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Boy, he really lucked out this time.
Yeah, I knew we were.
Ever get the feeling you'd like your car to perform as well as it can? That's why stunt driver Tom Anthony uses mobile detergent gasoline. After all, a clean carburetor performs better. It's as simple as that. Mobile detergent gasoline. For your everyday driving needs.
Tonight, after hockey, stay tuned for another fabulous edition of USA's Night Flight. Regular features like New Wave Theater. Also, Takeoff and Space Patrol will be on display. Plus, the electric music of ELO. That's Night Flight tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific here on USA. The Islanders have taken a commanding 3-0 lead in the series with a 5-1 victory, breaking it open in the third period. It was 1-1 going in, and then the Islanders, Bobby Bourne at 5'11", made it 2-1, what turned out to be the winning goal. Ken Morrow scored just a little over a minute later to make it 3-1 Islanders. And then at the closing stages, Edmonton out of gas, and the Islanders poured it in. Dwayne Sutter, his 9th of the playoffs at 16:43, and Brent Sutter, his 10th of the playoffs at 19:42, and that was the final. The Islanders win it by the score of 5-1. And so now the Islanders have taken a commanding 3-0 lead. It was anybody's hockey game going into the third period, tied up at 1 apiece. Anders Kaller had scored the late stages of period number 1, and then Yari Curry scoring in the early stages of period number 2. Here are the two high-scoring teams. Edmonton, the highest-scoring team in the history of the NHL, battling to a 1-1 tie going into the third period. Before we come down and talk with the star of tonight's game, let's go upstairs to Dan Kelly.
Okay, Al Albert. Final score, as you have told our folks, a 5-1 Islander victory, and the Islanders just owned the third period after Billy Smith stoned the Oilers in the first and second.
Again, you know, you almost get tired of saying how great Billy Smith is, because it's true, but yet you run out of words to describe him, Dan. He has, again, played extremely well in this game, and he is the reason why, put all the credit not necessarily to him, but amongst all the rest of the Islanders, but when you come right down to picking the #1 guy, Billy Smith is the man.
Meanwhile, other people in the Islanders tonight, Ken Morrow, Bob Bourne, on down the line, played brilliantly, and particularly in the third period when the Islanders just ran away from the Edmonton Hockey Club.
No question about it, Dan. When you talk about the Islanders, you talk about a tremendous team effort. They've got great talent mixed with great character, and I think that is really the sign of a championship team. Let's face it, they have been champions the last 3 times, and it looks like they're going to be champions once again, unless a miracle can be pulled off.
Can they wrap it up briefly on Tuesday night?
You know, one thing about this Islander team, I think, whenever they are in a clinching situation whereby they've got to win or they want to win bad, I think you'll see them win.
Okay, that's the thinking upstairs. Again, back to Al Albert and our star of the game, the guy that got the winning goal, Bob Bourne.
And the guy who's the leading scorer for the Islanders in the playoffs with 8 goals and 20 assists, Bob Bourne. And, Bob, it is not over yet. It's not over till it's over, said Yogi Berra, and you still have one more game, but your prediction perhaps may be off. You said Islanders in 6.
Well, that's the safe approach. I'm still not saying we're going to win it in 4, and it could easily be in 6. I think Edmonton's a great team, and, you know, we were lucky to come out of the second period tied 1-1, and it certainly wasn't a 5-1 hockey game.
A tremendous frustration you could see on the part of the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, I think we're changing their game plan a lot. I noticed in the third period in Edmonton, in the second game, they started dumping the puck in, and I've never seen them do that. And then in the first period here, they were doing the same thing, and I think that's a lot different from what they're accustomed to.
Well, what opened it up in the third period is a 1-1 hockey game when Bob Bourne and his line with the Sutter brothers pounced on Andy Moog. Bob, could you describe it?
I'm coming out of the corner here, and Steffi really lets one go, and it bounces up in the air. It comes right to my glove, and I put it down the ice and just stuffed it in the open corner.
All right, we'll see it from another angle, and after this.
As you see, I'm coming in here, and any sort of rebound, either Dave Langevin and I would have been there to stuff her in the net.
So that turned out to be the winning goal in this game. The Islanders then opened it up for a 5-1 victory. A 5-1 score certainly did not tell the story of tonight's game.
No, that's for sure, especially the first 2 periods, but I thought we completely dominated them in the third period, and I think our team kind of reacted the way we have all year when we have to go out there and win what we do.
If anybody had told you before this series started that you would have a chance to sweep it in 4, what would have you said to that person?
I'd have probably bet them $1,000 that we wouldn't, even though we're not supposed to. But you know, after seeing Edmonton, I can see why they have gone as far as they have, and they're not out of it. I mean, you know, everyone says, sweep, 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 but that's not going to, I don't think it'll be the case, even though we'll be awfully confident going in the 4th game.
After 3 games, Wayne Gretzky, no goals. What has been the secret to the Islanders' success on the great one?
Well, we're keeping him away from the front of our net. You know, he stands in there behind, and he tries to come out either side, and we've definitely blocked those lanes off on him. And, of course, Brian Trottier made a terrific play in the first 2 minutes tonight when Wayne tried to come around the side of the net, and Brian slid out and blocked with his chest. But we're just keeping him away from there.
You know, 2 months ago, the Islanders going through a very rocky regular season. I would think many here, even in the Nassau Coliseum, would have never thought that you would even made the finals.
Well, that's everyone else. That's all the people that jumped off our bandwagon there. I'm telling you, we had so many people down on us throughout the year that everyone said, I even had close friends that would tell me, hey, what the heck's going on with you guys? There's no way you'll do it. And it's just, like Al says all the time, it's the character in that dressing room. And every one of those guys has character, and we knew we could do it. Our only concern was trying to get on a roll with about 15 games to go in the season, and we accomplished that.
Well, the timing right for the Islanders so far this year. Bob Bourne with a winning goal, leading the Islanders to a 5-1 victory, and now a 3-0 lead in the series going to Game 4 Tuesday right here at the Nassau Coliseum. And Bob, we thank you for joining us, for being our guest and chosen the USA's Stanley Cup star. We'd like you to have this quartz analog watch by Timex, the MVP in watches. Timex believes that precision time making and great design are not expensive, just rare. Timex, we make technology beautiful. And from Norelco, this close-shaving Norelco Roto-Track razor. It shaves you as close as a blade without the nicks and cuts. The Roto-Track razor, tough on your beard, not on your face. From Norelco. And as an added gift, here's Ice Hockey by Activision, one of the hardest-hitting, toughest video games for your Atari 2600. Our congratulations to Bob Bourne, the winning goal tonight, leading the Islanders to a 5-1 victory. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Lowenbrau. When you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrau. By Mobile Detergent Gasoline for your everyday driving needs. By Toyota, who reminds you that it's a good feeling to buckle up for safety. And by Levi's Menswear, the makers of Levi's Action Slacks. This has been a sports presentation of the USA Network.